Just let me know when you're ready. A little different from, good, I'm glad I have the printed version. It's a little different from what was in the package, but that's okay. Am I looking at the right one?
Made one small
Okay, am I
change.
looking at the right meeting packet 1008? Got it. No, we're good. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. What are your hours moving to? I assume you're gonna be,
Yeah, I've been trimming back, closing Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start to close Thursday after this weekend.
Are we recording?
basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep, we're recording. And you'll have to YouTube.
We're good?
Good to go.
All right, thank you, Chris, and good afternoon, everybody. This is the Water Valley Select Board regular meeting scheduled for 8 October 2025. I am Rich Rita, the chair of the board, and today with me is Wendy Rathber, vice chair, and Dan Bancroft, select board member. So we have a quorum. I see some folks in the audience moving to privilege of the floor. Did you have a privilege of the floor item?
Yes, item? No. I have about 6 items.
We have a very long meeting, so if you could,
Of course.
We're gonna
you-
try,
Thank you.
we're both got different hats on today.
oh, all right, well, let's do it.
You know that I'm not long-winded. I like to keep everything short.
Okay,
All right. All right, so on the other week, we took a walk up Lost Pass Road and looked closely at the culverts. There's plastic trash, silt and weeds in almost all of the culverts.
it's a long lost pass.
Lost Pass Road.
Yeah,
That's
I
moves
mean,
right-
you're locking, what,
Walking the road.
right,
The steep road up.
okay.
They blocked the drainage and we thought the sooner we get to it, the easier it will be to clean them out. Before the rainstorm comes. I don't know what happened with last night's rain, but. They need attention, and I know when we last spoke to Megan, she said the culverts are on her list. But
Yeah, they usually clean them out every fall as part of the fall cleanup. Okay, thank you for noticing
Yeah.
that.
All right, number 2, this is for the Conservation Commission. I think Steve was approached by Paul the other day regarding the funding for our sediment mitigation plan on Snows Brook. And what we're asking for is an extension of the funding for another year, I think. Extended by another year, please.
Minimum.
What is did the funding lapse as of the end of this year? Or is it, and do we have to go in front of town meeting to,
Yeah, so we received the authorization in town meeting 2022 for $50,000, $100,000 total, 50,000 grant funded, 50,000 through general taxation. General rule of thumb is our auditors do not like us to have any funding sources exceed a 2-year period. Lapsing into a 3rd year is something they really discourage. And that's what we would be doing here, moving the funding from which there's $41,000 left in this pool, moving into 2026 would be that 3rd year. So I do have a call out to Vashon Cloquet. I just received this letter. I was going to present it at correspondence from Paul Ricotta this morning with the request. So I did email Matt just to get his advice if that's something that, what are the parameters around allowing this, or what's the risk of allowing it, and just
Yeah.
so I could better inform.
or just go in front of town meeting again and reauthorize?
That's what he would prefer.
I think that's,
Yeah,
my recollection was that's sort of the standard way to do it.
correct.
Well, let's see what he says.
Okay.
You guys are happy with that?
Sure.
And But no, I would certainly support going forward to town meeting with a reauthorization.
How do we
On-
go forward with that? Or how's the select board go?
we would pull together a warrant article.
Okay.
And we would probably work with the Conservation Commission for the language. I imagine it'd be just a repeat of the language.
Yeah.
Well, is the grant still available?
The grant is not.
Or was
That,
the grant used?
it was not. We were denied.
Oh, okay,
So we just went forward with our $50,000 portion of it.
gotcha,
Right.
I believe the Army Corps of Engineers also limited what we could do.
right,
And then the Forest Service started to weigh in and again can limit what we could do.
okay,
So,
And we didn't need the 100,000. We needed a bit less than the 50,000.
right.
okay.
So, but we'll definitely, we'll relook at that when we go through our budget process and our warrant articles for the fall. Let's see what
Good.
the accountants say.
Good, it's
Right.
on record.
Right,
Excellent.
so right now the money is there until December or March?
Through December.
December.
Okay,
The last correspondence that I have from Ecosystems, that a consultant at Ecosystems was dated 7/26/23, where he does outline the total cost of the project in his estimate, his estimates that do get us close to that $100,000 figure.
Right.
I don't know if we have anything that pairs this back scope wise to get us closer to what we have budgeted for. I could not locate that.
I know Rick Vanderpaal has worked on that,
Right.
right? So we probably need that background information to go
That would be
forward.
helpful.
as a
Anyway.
board, we'll reach out and get that for you.
Okay.
Right,
Great. Okay, next item.
sure.
All right, so for the past 4 or 5 years, maybe Brooke knows a little better. Some of us have been responsible for filling the poop bag dispensers.
Mhm.
And,
Been longer than that.
it's been, okay, yeah.
Eric and I have been doing it for a
So,
while.
yeah, quickly, I thank you, Brooke, for, officially taking over, so the rec department will now be responsible for refilling the poop bag dispensers. So we'd like to put that on record that
Yeah.
if someone has a question, or maybe what
Yeah,
we'll do is,
so
number,
basically, Erit has been doing this service for the
Mhm.
town.
Yeah.
The town has been purchasing the actual pet waste bags, and then Erit and John have been kind enough to keep refilling those along with the help of the AAA, maybe, or.
Just you guys.
No.
How many
Anyway.
stations do we have now?
7 or 8.
Yeah,
7 or 8.
7 or 8, and we are be adding 2 more. So yes, Tyler is gonna take over the, upkeep of those going forward.
And we'll plan to work with Tyler for a while until he gets the hang of it.
Right,
yeah.
Okay,
right.
And what might make it easier when other walkers walk around town and notice a dispenser empty. If we number them, then they can just say, number 2 needs help. Instead of saying, the dispenser by Village Road and. I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's a good
maybe it's
idea. We can
And
put,
again, Ty will take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Field
all right,
that.
no. okay.
So that's off the list, thank you.
So if you do see something that needs.
If we see it, we'll say it.
Attention, just
Yeah.
contact Tyler directly.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay. Number 4. This is about green and natural burials. What I needed to know from you is who is in charge of our cemetery?
The town, the select board.
You?
Okay.
Okay,
so, may I interrupt?
Sure.
someone? So years ago, when Mike Aronson was on the board, we discussed this.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you tabled it for quite a while, and I can't remember what the results were of people living in Waterville Valley can be buried there or not. There was some controversy about how long you had to be living here or something.
It's all outlined in a regulation.
So we want to be, we want to be educated on that, just not myself and Eric, but the town should be. So when you say it's outlined, where is that?
There are cemetery regulations. I think all you have to do is search from the webpage, just put in cemetery regulation, it'll pop up.
So that's in our website right now, the
Mhm.
town webs.
Yeah,
okay,
Okay, the town webs, as you know, is very difficult to navigate. So are we working on that? It was supposed to
We
be
are,
yesterday, wasn't it?
actually, it is one of our agenda items. I don't know if you actually have it on the agenda today, but Steve and I have talked about this recently. And we are in the process of redoing the website. We haven't forgotten.
Okay, is the process, just to be clear, a year from now, 6 months from now, 3 months from now?
Sometime next year, I think is the
Because
best
you've
we
been working
can,
on it for a
we
while.
can say. Well, it costs money.
Understood.
So we'll have, we'll have to see how we integrate that into the budget.
Yeah, I think I originally, I broached that topic, John, because we were told by our current developer that we were slated for an upgrade last spring.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, this sounds great. And my perception of that was kind of a flip of the switch, kind of an upgrade, here you go,
Yeah,
but it's much more than that.
Mhm.
So
okay.
spring
got it.
got delayed to the fall.
Sure.
And then once I started to understand some budgetary impacts that was gonna have, Kristen and I have been reaching out to competitors, other web designers, to see if they can provide us with some options as well.
Okay,
Right.
But it should be easy, John. If you just go to the
In the search
webpage,
bar,
just
if
in
you
the search
type in
bar, top
cemetery.
right, just
okay.
type in cemetery
Thank you.
regulation.
Yeah.
It should pop right up as probably the first
I've done it, but it does.
search.
Okay,
Yeah.
and rules and regulations of burial are there also?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
John, if
Okay.
you look on the Public Works department on our website, right on the top side of the left side, it says cemeteries, and if you click on it, it has table of contents of everything that's included on that page, which
Okay,
Megan has updated a form, she's updated this,
Mhm.
what needs to be, what you qualify for to be
Oh,
right
okay.
there.
great,
It's all there.
thank
Alright.
you.
So we need to do a deeper discussion, not now, but in the future. Lee Webster. who gave us
On natural,
On natural
Right,
green
okay,
burials.
yeah.
So I did hear that we have plans to extend the cemetery.
we're hoping to.
enlarge
We've
it.
been in contact with an
Hoping.
abutter about getting some land from them. And Mark and I actually did talk about this. It is allowed by state law. I wasn't able to make the presentation. I think
Mhm.
she's
She'll-
coming back,
She'll come
right?
again in the springtime.
Spring.
She's coming back in the
Yes.
spring,
Well,
but it's certainly something, we can
Yeah.
look at.
And
Okay.
we'd
See
like
what,
to
see
offer,
what
yeah,
folks
we'd like
want.
to offer something that's environmentally friendly, not just what we've been doing. Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll look at the state RSA, yeah.
Yes, okay. Number 5. We need a new member for MSW, for our group. For our solid waste working.
Oh,
group.
Rick was on that as well.
Yeah,
All right. You guys have anybody in mind? Not tell us a name, but are you looking
I
to,
have someone in mind. I threw out the invite.
right,
She's thinking about it.
all right.
is that something the select board?
Well, I think
Should
you
assign,
would
or-
discuss it at your committee and our rep on that committee is Wendy.
Yeah.
And then she can bring it to the board
Okay.
and say so-and-so we have a vacancy, so-and-so has said she or he is interested in filling that vacancy, and then we'll just vote on it. Does that sound the easy
Yeah.
way to do it?
Small item though, we're meeting now only every other month, not monthly. So if we wait till November and then we discuss it, then she doesn't come on until February.
We could do it, we could. Well. We could have a special meeting, an additional meeting of the MSW if we need to, right?
We can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, she has to, you said a she, right? She just has to initiate it. I mean, if she initiates it, and says yes, our next select board meeting's on the 22nd of this month. In 2 weeks, we could meet the November.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah. And the
It doesn't require the committee to get together. It's just that,
A letter of referral.
yeah,
Yeah.
just a letter to the board, to Wendy or to the board, whatever, and we'll vote on it.
Okay, and do
That
you
work?
think we need an alternate for our MSW? All right, just a thought.
Something you can talk about at your November meeting, maybe?
We
Yeah.
can talk about
Yeah.
that. All right, before I go to my last thing. Is there still a drought in town?
Yes,
What level is it at?
the state classifies, as last I saw, we're still in the extreme drought classification.
Okay, and the classifications are also on the town's website?
That's correct.
Okay,
And we're still at a level 4 restriction. It's on our agenda to discuss if we want to make any changes. I'm assuming that we're not, but we have to talk about it as a board. But
So
let,
we have discussed it a little bit at Conservation Commission. But I would like. I think I would like Chief Noyes, Dave Noyes, to send out something. To prepare people if they have to be evacuated. Something like even.
oh, you're going to fire now.
This is
You're
a
going to
different
fire.
one.
Okay. Okay, I was thinking, I thought you were talking about water when you said drought. Sorry.
Talking about our safety, public safety, something like,
Town has an emergency response plan already in place.
we know it's 180 pages.
Yeah,
I know.
it is.
But people don't know.
As a conservation commission member, do you think we could get you to come to our commission and then we could put something in wording from what you suggest to us, and maybe we can spread it around the post office or something? I mean, I don't
I
think.
think we
people
have an
take it.
action plan. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, there is an action plan. Usually the problem with that is sometimes it gets very much ignored. And we only push that out when there's the potential for where we actually need people to take action.
Would it be too late by then now?
Well, hopefully in our plan, if we follow our plan, it's not.
Okay.
You know.
That part I don't
I mean, we have
We
the,
usually get,
we have the app
yes, yeah, we have Genesis,
to alert
you know,
people.
all that information for, you know, we're constantly getting monitored through the National Weather Service, the State Division of Forest and Lands,
Mhm.
the Forest Service. Everybody who has a hand in it, is,
Mhm.
um,
I'd like to make one little suggestion, sorry.
Okay.
If you could just put a little blurb out about a go bag, that would save us older people time. Just
okay,
prepare a go bag.
yeah.
If there's a fire and you're sending out a signal,
As part of our website update, one of the recommendations was an emergency management page, which is gonna have a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff on there.
you know,
Okay.
So that's what it'll be.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the plan. HSEM puts out a lot of that stuff with stuff about go bags and where to go, how to be prepared, all the preparedness stuff. But I didn't want to do all that effort and then have to redo it again. So,
For a new website.
yeah, so we were gonna hopefully,
it's hard to tell people, go to your website, you'll find out information.
Uh,
It's easier to put out a poster and say, for your go bag, pack this and that. I'm just saying, keep it simple.
Or even have a poster up like in the post office, where to go to get this information. Because I don't think people know where to go.
Mhm.
And I don't think people are even thinking about it, but they'll panic and everyone in America or everyone in Waterville Valley will start to shoot out
Mhm.
49 and you know how that goes. So
Okay,
Something
we're
to
just
think about.
very concerned about that,
yeah.
especially this year. Thank you for your time.
All right, and last thing, I think some of our newsletters forgot about our Monday, October 13th, which is Indigenous Peoples' Day. This is the poster that's on at the post office. We have a chalk art project this is the third annual
Mhm.
project, 9 AM, I have no rain date. So I have purchased all the chalk and the children have a great time. And we do all kinds of nice artwork, so join us if you feel like it,
okay.
all right?
Yeah, I think we made that chalk, children's chalk project. I mean, the select board voted on it, what, several years ago, and
Yes.
it just happens.
Yeah.
We don't have to,
Thank you for my,
yeah, no problem.
okay, and thank you, Brooke. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time and concern. You brought up a couple really valuable things. Okay, I see no one else with privilege of the floor. Let's go ahead and move into the DPS ordinance review. Yeah, a lot of things there. Chief, thank you for all that work.
There's
Um,
a lot of things here.
we've-
We can go down the list that I've provided. And I put those, I tried to put most of those as whatever the priority is, so.
Right, yeah, no, we saw that, I saw that.
Yeah.
I think my own approach for today would be let's dispose of the ones that we don't have no long concern about, or if there's a minor change.
Sure.
There were a couple I think I wanted to think about a little bit. We just got it in the packet, what was it, Monday afternoon, so I really haven't had a chance to think through, especially the special event, which
Sure.
was long.
Yeah.
But yeah, please, go ahead.
It is. So if we run down bicycles, that was a ordinance put in 1972. I'm sure there was a reason behind it at some point, and it basically just was talking about lights on a bicycle, that you had to have them at night. That's all covered by state law, operation of bicycles, equipment, all that is by state law. It really doesn't have any bearing on how we would enforce that. We would go under the state law to do so rather than the town ordinance. The town ordinance is very narrow.
Was there
And
anything
so I would,
particular about it? I mean, why?
I have no idea.
Something that
Uh,
distinguished us from state law that we were trying to,
You know,
Encourage or
you
enforce?
you can adopt, much like parking.
right, your
and
own,
That sort of, you
right.
can have your own, so I don't know if this was
right,
an attempt. I think the town looked much different back then. And there may have been some concerns about
bicycling.
bicycle
Right.
operation, but this one is very well covered by the state statute and really doesn't
Okay, so we would go in front of town meeting to repeal
just repeal.
repeal
that.
ordinance two.
And it's more of a housekeeping thing, just
Yeah,
cleaning it up. I'd rather not have any ordinances on the books that are old and outdated
No,
and
no,
just
well,
not of any use.
no, that's
So,
why we wanted to do this whole process with
Yeah.
all the departments. Exactly.
The dogs, that one is a little more extensive, and it seems more extensive only because it is more of a housekeeping thing. Our current, if you notice the current ordinance that we have, which there is a copy of it in there,
Mhm.
basically covers dogs running at large.
Mm.
And we're reliant on the state statute to cover everything else. What this does, it encompasses all of the nuisance, vicious, the animal waste,
Mhm.
and puts it all in under one hat, and makes it all under a town ordinance with the definitions. And basically covers also the dog registrations, which
Mhm.
it is covered in state statute, but it allows us then to, if we find an unlicensed dog that may be causing any one of these issues, we can address it. We can address that also for any unlicensed or unregistered dogs too. So again, it's not changing our current ordinance, it's just adding those other things by state statute that we can do, and it's consolidating town ordinance number 27.
Well, dog waste.
Yep, the
Right.
dog waste, so we would repeal that one if we adopt this one, because then therefore it's
Sure.
included within, so dogs, everything having to do with dogs is in one place.
So, this could be one of those ordinances that once we open it up,
Yes,
we will end up maybe in a place we don't want to be, like what happened with the noise ordinance and last year, the dumpster. Or so this,
well, if you remember, we had a leash, there was.
Oh,
a
I
leash
remember that.
law. There is no,
2014.
there is no leash law in here. This doesn't change that. There is no leash law.
Right.
It doesn't change any of that. I was very careful to make sure that this current ordinance doesn't touch that.
How does that, where is our the leash law currently residing?
It's just in our current, under the current dog statute, which the town meeting
It is in
decided
this-
not to update.
Right, it's in this
We
ordinance.
kept the original, which is.
It is in this
in
ordinance.
here, yep.
So, but someone could open it up.
Yeah, all it covers is at large. what the changes, if you remember correctly, in the previous years, is they wanted to add that dogs had to be leashed.
Yes, I remember that town meeting very well.
Yes.
Yep.
So.
5 minutes on $1 million budget and
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I'm very well aware that this can certainly be a sensitive topic to a lot of people. I assure you, there is no, you can read it. It doesn't have a leash law in here. It is just putting us
no,
in
no,
line with the
no,
state
no, no,
statute.
no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
The that maybe we'll need to look at this a little bit more.
Mhm.
I am all for updating and consolidating with 27. My own view is how much can we update without having to put it in front of town meeting, if it's more of a housekeeping. If we have to put it in front of town meeting, no matter what it says,
Mhm.
I am concerned that it could spin in a direction that we don't want.
right, like even under definitions, the accompanied, I highlighted the reasonable knowledge of where the dog is as being able to. It being concerning to me, and I'm sure would be a springboard for many people into how,
Mhm.
anyway, so it just seems to.
And that
alter
language,
things,
and that
but-
language is out of the state statute. So I didn't change any of those
Right.
definitions.
Yeah,
But we can't, I mean, town meeting can,
Town meeting can.
yes,
yeah,
Yes,
All right.
yes, they can. So that's why I put it as a low priority.
Okay.
We are okay as it stands. It's just in how we enforce it changes a little bit. You know, whether we're using the state statute or town ordinance.
all right, is this one of these recommended changes that we should think about a little bit and then talk more with,
That would be good.
with chief about it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But
All
I
right.
agree with you, Rich, the consolidating makes sense to have
Right.
everything.
Yeah,
in one.
it does consolidate a couple of, like I said, a couple of the ordinances
Yeah.
and help us clean it up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay,
Off-premise solicitation, we changed, we have a permitting process for that. And we did recommend some language changes in 09, and we never did adopt them. And it could just bring it in line with our application. I don't have this one for you
okay,
yet.
so we need to relook at that too.
So, it was basically what we had talked about, I think, within the last year and a half.
Yeah,
about-
and right, there was some gray area, especially when it came to food service in that one area in a food truck and
Mhm.
how the underlying ordinance at first glance doesn't seem to relate to food trucks.
Yes.
And I think the question was, should we put something in that ordinance
Mhm.
about food trucks?
Yeah.
So we
So
need,
that's one I
we
owe
need-
you.
okay, yeah, that's one we'll probably have to look at really hard. And there's a difference between what's in the ordinance and the regulation about the zones too.
Yes.
And that was an issue.
Yes, yes, so the permit application, we did finalize, but I don't think the language from our application of how we wanted to administer it matches what the ordinance says.
No,
Right,
there's a gray
Yeah.
area there.
Yeah.
It's just silent, I think.
Yeah, so,
All right,
I
definitely
would
a
just
fix.
recommend that we just need to look at that one. All
right.
Just to get it in line of what we're
No, that's a good one.
what
We'll
we're
have to-
practicing.
All right, so that's not, so we can talk about that one later.
Yeah, fireworks, our fireworks was, 1993. It was pretty antiquated. What I've attempted to do, was, while looking at these, is create the format all the ordinances in a similar manner.
Mhm.
Okay, have a
Great idea.
purpose, have the authority,
Yeah.
have the
Right.
definitions.
Right. And-
If there's a permit that's involved, what the application is for,
Right,
what the process is,
Mhm.
and then what the enforcement action is. So I'm trying to standardize it as we go
Nice.
through.
Good.
Yeah, that's
This is
great.
one of those changes. Fireworks basically just gives our authority, explains what permits, when you're required to get a permit, and what the application process is for getting fireworks permit. And then it goes into the violations and penalties, which puts us in line with the state statute. So basically, this fireworks one is more a housekeeping issue. One, it's putting the format in a proper format that we're using. And spelling it out as far as the enforcement action as far as state laws, what they.
Do you think we need to go in front of town meeting? Is it change enough? I confess, I didn't look at that one very closely because it was kind of long and
Yeah, it's, the other one is not as, it's. Put it this way, the only reason why we have this application is at one time, there was one gentleman in town who was a licensed fireworks operator that would do one show on New Year's Eve. Every year, and he fell under this ordinance. The only other time that I've ever used this ordinance is just the regular displays that the resort does. They get a local permit from me.
Right.
For those displays, but as far as that.
How do towns usually, other towns handle fireworks? Does it come under a fireworks ordinance or is there another?
They do, because
mechanism?
every town can decide whether they can ban them totally.
Right,
Or allow them under special circumstances, or allow them under a permit process. So we have always allowed it under a permit process. So all this is cleaning up spelling out that process a little better in the ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an ordinance that affects too many people, I'm not getting.
Yeah, that
hit up
was
for-
one of my questions, actually. So does someone in section 5, as I was just skimming through it, it seemed, I read only licensed applicants, or you have to show a license? So
Yeah.
someone has to, whoever's applying for the fireworks show has to be the one setting it off and have the license.
Correct.
So like if I wanted to do one for the shop, I wouldn't come in for the license. I would hire someone who would come in for the license.
Correct.
Okay.
Somebody who's licensed, a licensed pyrotechnic operator that's licensed through the state. Fire marshal's office is basically who comes in for a permit application.
Okay.
So every show that the resort does on weekends throughout the year is run by Atlas.
Mhm.
So their application actually comes from Atlas,
Gotcha.
not the resort. They come in as representing the resort in order to do this, but I get certificate of insurance, I have the location, I have a list of what they're shooting, and I have a copy of their license in order to do so.
no, it seems to me this is a worthwhile one to bring forward
Yeah.
to update. And
Well,
so,
and
yeah.
in an enforcement side of it is, many times we get a lot of noise complaints and things for people who are shooting off fireworks.
That's good.
Personal fireworks. This statute helps cover the enforcement part of that,
Yes.
that part of it.
The only other minor thing I'd noticed is that we're trying to do select board as opposed to board of selectmen, and I think that might have slipped through on a couple of these.
It was, I did that, I did do that on purpose,
Okay,
and I know
Including
it's Board of
everything. select board.
it was Board of Selectmen before, so as an update, I put it as Select
Select
Board.
board.
Cool.
If that's up to you, if,
No, I think
We
all
wanna
of
keep
our
it that way?
documents, yeah, all our documents should reflect
Yeah.
that language.
yep, so I'm trying to, I tried really hard, I apologize if a couple of them
In the-
slept
In the
through.
They're all
drafting
over the
process.
place, yeah.
is
So
one process.
if they slip through, then I do
It'll be
apologize.
caught
Okay, yeah.
along the way.
So the next one that I think was most of ours, everything else was good up until the road use event.
Hmm.
So the road use event is a little more detailed. Because the recommendation here is to change this to the
Special events, yeah, so we'll need to talk about this one a bit more.
Mhm.
So this one would be repealed and we'd have a special event one, or do we put this special event one
I think
under
this,
this?
I think this one would just replace. The road use event would become amended to become the special event.
Yeah, I think that's that,
Yeah.
yeah, all right,
Again, there's a statement of purpose. The authority for it, the definition of a special event. I know we struggled with that before. But Certainly, I think this is one that I know for a permitting and enforcement side, I can work with. You know, especially when people are asking me, do I need a permit for this?
Right. It's always been a bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, which is always an issue. So the way that I have approached this is any short-term outdoor event that is beyond anything that affects parking, um, building code or fire code, then yes, you would need a permit. If you're having an event that's contained within your property
Yeah.
that doesn't affect parking, life safety, excuse me, any of that kind of stuff, then a permit would not apply. So these are the larger events, road races, running events, any of that kind of things where the things that are happening within, say, town square of just on a weekend. So typically we don't do permits for Chili Festival and the
Any of the, any
Powder
events
Fest
within
and
town
the,
square.
yeah, the tent sale, the
Yeah,
Right.
any of that kind of stuff. All of that is handled by the property owner, and as long as it's either permitted by right or an accessory to use or by special exception, then they would not need a permit to do those types of events for here. These are the types of events that are beyond those types of events that require a police detail, a medical detail. We need to inspect something. But what I'm proposing in this is this ordinance would make it a one-stop shop for say they're having an event that involves food trucks, tents, parking, all of those things that we would typically do a separate application for and permit for. If you're having a special event, you fill out one application, and on the back end, we can issue a permit for a tent, a food truck, a
I see.
parking, any of those types of things on the back end. So one, it kind of streamlines the process for the customer.
Mm.
You know, that's putting on these events. We'll still be doing it on the back end, but it allows us to kind of keep everything. I'm not having to review 15 different permits.
right.
I can review one permit, and then if I'm missing something, I have one point of contact with them that we're going to.
Okay, so let's take a harder look at that, and then we can talk to you in more detail once we've read it and see if we have any questions.
Sure.
But I think the approach is
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2-page, the special event ordinance, changing it, in here.
Mhm.
But then the application pretty much covers everything. This was, done in conjunction with, Brooke and, Chief Pear. So basically it's gonna touch any of these events within the application will touch everybody that's appropriate to, whether it's MSD for trash, us on the health side, the police chief and the fire chief. The only thing I would change in this application, I would put instead of police chief or designee and fire chief or designee. So if I was on vacation, someone else could sign it, you know, sign off on it. But then it gives us a checklist for town staff is there a traffic control plan, crowd control plan, parking plan in place, fire and emergency medical plan. So sometimes we have these races that are quite lengthy. They're on the mountain. They're in the trails in the middle of the forest. Sometimes they ask us to provide medical coverage for that. We would hire in, you know, you know, charge them for our time, a special detail to provide that service. you know, for a dedicated person for these types of events. This allows us to this, sanitary facilities plan. So working out with Public Works, if they need dumpsters, how many porta potties they need,
Right.
that sort of thing. Food service, that's where our food trucks come in. On the health side, we make sure everything that applies within the food, you know, the offsite solicitation still counts, still goes, but allows us to pretty much consolidate everything to this one permit.
No, I think that makes sense. There are a couple questions that maybe I was looking through, thought maybe shouldn't be yes, no. Like
Mhm.
when you were just talking about, will there be an area for food handlers to wash their hands? You don't want them checking no on that. I'm assuming it's like,
There will
It
be.
should be, there will be.
yes,
Yeah.
what will be,
Yep.
you know,
Mhm.
anyway.
Well, we'll definitely look at that one and have a separate discussion on just that one at some point.
Sure, so,
That's great, though. A lot of work. Thank you, Chief.
yep, you're welcome. Moving along, would recommend under ordinance 26 handicap parking. We addressed that within when we redid the street parking in 2022. Handicap is already included in the street parking,
So we can repeal this.
so I
one.
would repeal that one just to clean it up. Same thing with the, we already spoke about the removal of animal waste. We would recommend repealing that if we adopt the other dog ordinance.
Yeah.
And open
Last
container.
but not least, yeah.
This one I would, recommend changing if there is some discussion about allowing social districts.
That will be starting tomorrow at the planning board.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll have to see what they come up with.
Mhm.
So,
So in order to adopt it, there is some very specific language within the statute that we would need to put forward. The biggest question is, what's the boundary? What are the areas?
right,
What is it?
and the town is responsible for delineating that, right?
I don't know if it's exactly if it's us, it might fall on us to do so, but. Of course, I think that's where the discussion is going to be. I don't think it's the question about whether you really want to have them. Our opinion as far as an enforcement standpoint is, for one, if you establish a social district, it makes our jobs easier.
True.
Because we're not questioning, where did that beer come from? Did it come from that bar? Or did it come from that store? If it came from the store, then it's okay, but if it came from the bar, then it's not.
Okay.
In a social district, it doesn't matter where the
Right.
beer came from, it's all. Everything is good. What it does is it also streamlines a lot of things for us and for the resort, for example. Or any other of the events that they want to provide alcohol with. Say out in the courtyard, they then have to apply for a separate off-premise liquor license. That has to be reviewed by us. We have to sign off on it. We have to provide a letter to the liquor commission saying, we don't have a problem with your plan, but it has to be in a designated area for serving alcohol. If you have a social district, that all goes away. And it just allows them to have beer tastings, wine tastings. It still has to be from a licensed provider. But you then eliminate, the designated area that they can consume alcohol in. And that would leave just the social district area open for them to be able to do that.
So Liz, I'm sorry, go ahead.
From our perspective, it makes our job much easier. We don't have to go through all the administrative
Right.
process to allow and then make sure that they have a snow fence set up and that people who are drinking this, if it's in the social district, it's in the social district. And then beyond that, we have an open container law that allows us to drink. You can drink openly in public anyway. So it doesn't blur the lines for our officers out there for seeing somebody, hey, where did that come from? You're not in
Right.
here or you're not.
Right,
Yeah,
people were always so confused about it.
a lot of people
Yeah.
are confused, and I
Yeah.
think the resort nature of us, a lot of people don't know. So, we see a lot of
Right.
people kind of try to hide their alcohol. We come up to them and put a hand on their shoulder and say, it's okay.
But that joint you're smoking is not.
Well, the state of New Hampshire says, well, it is,
medical,
it is sort of.
sort of maybe for medical purposes.
So,
So,
we
actually,
can save that for our discussion, the discussion.
I think at the
for-
planning board that, Liz sent around, her analysis of it from the
Mhm.
planning boards, so I'll forward that to you
Okay,
and, you now have it.
okay,
And I think the planning board will, I don't know if they'll discuss this particular zoning amendment
Mhm.
tomorrow, but it will be one of them. And so obviously, your input in that will be
sure.
very important for the planning board to decide whether to go forward with social district and to recommend them to town
And
meeting.
I would also want to get the input from the resort because they're the greatest
Yes.
beneficiary
Yeah.
of
I-
this.
I believe they've informally said that they are in favor
Mhm.
of the social district.
I would want to,
Right.
I would want to get their opinion of what they felt was
Mhm.
was the area of what we would call a social district.
Right,
I certainly, would not disagree that the mountain and the base lodge, the area around the base lodge would certainly be a social district just because anytime they want to have something in the courtyard, they have to go through that administrative process of whether they're licensed either from T-bars or
mhm,
the Freestyle Lounge or any one of those others to be able to just have a special event or tasting or anything outside. I would just recommend the whole,
Area.
let's have an
Yeah.
area around those buildings that is the social district.
Right.
But the biggest question is Town Square.
yeah, we'll definitely
Right.
need their input,
Yeah,
absolutely on
because what
on this.
happens, like, people can't necessarily flow into a different business when they've been served. By one bar, one place, they can't go into another business, right? With said drink, or can they?
It's up to the business. If currently, if they are serving alcohol, you can't take alcohol out of
No, exactly.
a bar, a
Right.
place that beer and wine. And especially you can't take your own alcohol and go into
Exactly,
an
Right.
establishment
yeah,
either. So, within the district, it's basically allows you to kind of free flow anywhere, and individual businesses can make their own rules.
Hmm.
And say either we allow it or we don't allow alcohol in our business.
That sounds like it'll get convoluted. I bet. It'll take a lot of communication,
Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure, yeah.
well, we'll see
Yeah.
what the planning board does with regard to social district, whether they move forward with it for a zoning amendment and then whatever's passed.
Yep.
And then, chief can have that input. Certainly any commercial entity or resident or anybody can have an input on whether or not the amendment should go forward.
Yeah.
And then if it does, be voted upon town meeting.
Mhm.
And then from that, we can create whatever we need to create
Yep.
for the town. All right, so I think what I got is, I think we agree, I got comments correctly, to repeal the bikes
Mhm.
and to repeal, the handicap, ordinances for town meeting, to
26.
bring that forward. Yeah, number 2 and number 26.
Yeah.
Number 27, we will, include, also repeal that, but actually coordinate, consolidate what's in 27
Yeah.
under a revised, dog ordinance number 7.
Yeah.
So we'll want to talk about that a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Off-site solicitation, we need to talk, about that a little bit more.
Mhm.
I think we're okay with the chief's recommendation on the fireworks. Or did you want to look at that more closely?
No, I'm good.
All right, so we'll go ahead with updating that at town meeting.
Yeah.
Special event we need to talk a little bit more about. And yeah, 28 open container, we'll have to see what the planning board does and go from there, so. Thank you for all that work, chief. We'll go ahead with the ones I've just mentioned, and then we'll
Mhm.
talk some more about number 7, number 9, and number 18.
Yep, I'll try to have some language for you for, hopefully within the next week or so, I can get it to you, for the off premise.
And any,
Okay.
any grammar edits, do you want us to just email them?
Oh, yeah, no, if
Yeah,
you
please
guys
do.
see anything,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, those are nonsense, they could be changed immediately.
Right.
Yeah,
Anything like that, yeah, anything non-substantive. All right, anything else like to talk about with regard to the ordinance? Thank you. All right. Let's move on to. Now I have minutes review, but we have you here, chief. I don't know if you're planning to hang around for the whole meeting. Did we want to go to the select space need consultant
sure.
first and then go back, circle back? All right, let's talk about that. Wendy, chief, anything you'd like to say? Start it off, Wendy. Dan?
Yeah, I guess we'll just have a quick synopsis of actually what we're talking about
Mhm.
for the folks at home. We asked put some money aside for a space needs assessment to evaluate town hall and Department of Public Safety. Steve had prepared an RFP to put out to a number of firms, basically to look at what our current conditions are, and conduct a space needs assessment. That's kind of phase 1. And then under phase 2 is give us some options of what potentially we should be looking for, or what it may look like for a new town hall, public safety department, whether it's combined, it's separate, what it's going to, what potentially it could look like, and go from there. We certainly have had conversations through the years that, you know, this is a 50-plus-year-old building now, and with the shared needs of public, the town office, town administration, and public works, we're kind of busting at the seams. And the building is most definitely showing its age. So
Yeah, we just spent how much to fix the drainage?
about $30,000.
$30,000.
Yeah, yeah,
just in the
18 of
base.
that was through grant, so that was good.
That helps, yeah. Still, that's $12,000 on
Yeah,
fixing drains in the bay.
yeah, and we're struggling with things like that on a regular basis.
Right,
you know.
windows, what have you.
Yeah. So we put the RFP out. We had 5 companies, firms that got back to us with proposals. We reviewed those proposals, myself, Steve G. Pear, and Jim Chapin.
Yeah.
Did I forget anybody?
Nope, that's right.
And what we did is we wanted to boil it down to the top 3. And looking at all of their proposals, basically, I took the top 3, we came to a consensus, we had everybody give us your top 3. Let's see what kind of consensus we have, and we were all pretty spot on as far as who our top 3.
Agreement.
In agreement as far as who our candidates were that we were looking at. What I did then is I kind of put their proposals into a weighted scoring breakdown, and that's included here, which their experience, their ability to and their success at proposing these to town meetings, their experience in doing so, and being able to express these kinds of projects to the citizens was a very important part of it. Also, their part is their expenditures, you know, what's their overrun like? You know, based on what the project was estimated to cost versus what it really cost.
Right.
And that was a big one, you know, because we don't want,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
we're already in that boat with other projects that,
Yeah.
you know, so,
Mhm.
we wanna, so. The long story short is, you'll see my narrative in here. I broke down, I gave, Turner Group, and when I say the group,
Mhm.
scored the Turner Group with Tecton Architects, rank, our first choice. Very strong in their public safety expertise and their projects, about 150 plus, you know, public safety type projects and municipal projects that they've done. And the references were really good, and their methodology and their fee versus the price was pretty straightforward. The second one was for Dantas with Horizons Architect. Now they scored third overall as far as our ranking. But because the Gallant Architecture Studio was so pricey,
Mm.
we dropped them down to third,
Right.
and moved Verdantas up as far as what the pricing was, because right now, you know, starting initially with $50,000 that was given for this project, you know, looking at what we're going to get for phase one and phase two and what that's going to cost us.
Yeah.
We just didn't feel
That's where the
like,
rubber hits the road.
yeah, we just didn't feel like, they had good, study and design experience. They got strong, community engagement, but just their price, it just didn't make sense. Verdantas with Horizons, they're good, not as much municipal experience. They seem to be more industrial, good at building, you know, storage facilities, infrastructure for electric companies and that sort of thing. So our recommendation was the Turner Group for that. And I don't have their proposal with the price. I didn't bring that one. I didn't bring that one down.
They had a
You
phased,
mentioned that the Vedantas folks seem to, if you will, know more about Waterville and so forth. That was one of their strengths in there.
They
Can you
did.
comment on that, please?
So they strongly in approach methodology and their options, and their cost estimating was really good. They seemed like they're pretty high end. As far as the quality of work, that they did. We just, again, coming down to price, and what we were gonna get, I still think that, Turner Group was just a little better, more of a value for what we were getting for our dollar for what they can provide us.
Horizons has supported the town on multiple engineering
Sure.
projects in the past. Road
And
projects.
present and future.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they were familiar with us.
they're very familiar with us.
That's where the
Yeah.
familiarity comes from. Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep, they definitely are, you know, very familiar with us, but right now, you know, Turner Group's got quite a bit of projects, you know, they're doing a bunch of stuff in Concord PD and
Barnstead School Edition.
Barnstead, yeah. Some of the town halls, I can't remember which one, and I don't wanna, I get them all mixed up, so I don't wanna say he did this one and that was wrong.
Do they have the bandwidth to be responsive? to
I
our
think so, and I
needs?
think that's what scored them better than all the rest, because they actually included a presentation that they did for one of their towns, for one of their, public safety building projects. And I thought it was pretty well thought out, and it was very, inclusive of everything that I think the citizens would certainly be concerned with, you know, price, value, that sort of thing. Is it the right building? Is it the right size? Look, yeah, the look, is a big one. They're very focused on the aesthetic. You know, is it gonna fit? You know, they wanna build something that fits with the town, that the town can, you know, be proud of.
But you don't have the costs?
I do have the did I put?
I didn't see it in the summary. So
No.
with the Turner Group, they took a phase 1 and 2 approach, Dave, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit to the board what the phase 1 will get us? I know from a cost standpoint, that phase 1 approach would be a $26,000 request. The phase 2 is a little more comprehensive, and that came in at around 90,000, if I recall correctly.
It was about 90,000, and that was getting us, you know, they would do a space needs assessment for both town hall and, public works,
Mhm.
public safety, and looking forward to 20, 30 years down the road. So it's several meetings with the board, meetings with the staff. I'm doing a full evaluation of our current situation. And then, once they can provide a report on our space needs, okay, phase 2 would be like, okay, now that we know your space, what you need for potential space. Now let's look at what are some of our options to move forward with, potential projects. Is it a town hall standalone? Is it in a renovation to this building? Is it another combined building someplace else? Is it 2 separate buildings on 2 separate lots? We don't know that. You know, that's what we're gonna have them give us and be able to give us 3 different options that we can present to the town to say, oh, this one looks like the best option if we were to move forward with it. You know, this is how much this option is gonna estimate to cost us.
Sure.
This is,
Right,
you know,
but to get there, we'd be another $70,000,
about 62.
60,000
About 62,000 to make up the difference,
in
24
the
for
2 phase.
24 for phase 1. So if we went with Turner Group, we would have to go back to town meeting to ask for
Another,
another,
yeah,
another
70.
60, yeah,
60, 70.
yeah. Another 75 to get phase 2 done.
Right, and then we would have in front of us
A plan,
their options, a
Yeah.
plan for
With
the
plan.
conceptuals, right?
conceptuals, yeah,
Right.
yes.
Is there an understanding by all of the different groups that we have limited town land to build on? And that the existing buildings are certainly fully used and we're not in a position where we can just, you know, shuffle people from one building to another and so forth.
So
I mean, I think that's one of our biggest challenges with respect to this entire consideration.
Absolutely. And I don't know what the timeline is either, you know, it may say we have to wait till a wastewater treatment project is over
Right.
for land to be available.
Mhm.
They did, as part of the RFP, did come visit, all the companies did come do a site visit. Where, Steve took all of their representatives around and said, this is what we got.
Yeah.
This is what we're working with.
Yeah.
And of course, these plans are, of course, diving a little bit deeper into, okay, what's the reality of what we're working with here? So,
And then after that initial site visit, there were questions that we fielded and answered to all of the applicants that talked about, you know, what are the limitations? What land do you have? How can we find your GIS maps? Those types of things. So they should have all the facts in front of them already.
Mhm.
And how much did Verdantis come in at roughly? Do you remember? Just for comparison's sake.
Verantis, I'm trying to remember, I'd have to go grab my folder upstairs. I do have it written down and it wasn't in with this one.
And Galante, that was the most expensive one, did you say?
Yeah, that one
180.
total was 187.5.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah, well, which I didn't, which I.
Right,
Yeah,
so was Verdante, as you recall, was it roughly in the same
I think.
same range as?
It was right
Obviously,
around.
we
in the- It
underestimated
was
the,
around in the same range. I'm gonna see if I can pull, or Steve,
Think
you
we-
trying to find it?
Trying to find it.
somewhat underestimated a complete. I know it was,
imagine that.
yeah, well, it was a little bit of shot in the dark, just
Yes.
to come up with a number to start the process. I think we thought that we would find out how
If-
much more.
Yeah, if we just did a phase one, we would have enough.
Oh, yeah,
With
I'm not sure,
Turner,
yeah.
but if that.
What are we gonna get?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not opening.
The 23rd,
I have the 17th,
17th.
9/17.
Gotcha, here it is. We're looking at Verdantis, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Cost estimate was 16,000 for phase one
Mhm.
and 42,000 for phase two.
42 additional.
Yes. And I don't know why that didn't make it onto here. That should have seemed pretty obvious.
And it would be the same, roughly the same output with recommended options for the town to consider.
It is, we just thought that the work product and what they could offer, Turner Group was a little more comprehensive as far as
Yeah,
what we were
Yeah.
gonna get.
it
What-
it would be for a difference of
I think
Yeah.
experience
60,000.
was the biggest thing that caught my eye comparing the two. Turner Group had a much more, a deeper portfolio, if you will, of similar projects in comparison to Verdantis. Over 150 plus projects. That's what stood out to me when I looked at both of them, Dan. It's just at least their published portfolio is much more extensive.
Yeah,
Did they give you a timeline, both of them, like whether it's the 24K for Turner or 16K for Verdantis, or we're talking about next year, basically,
Turner was gonna do November to January for phase one
of this year, right?
of
Okay,
this year.
got it.
And then February of May, we would recommend a town meeting a March to June, July for phase two.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we would have to
we-
come up with the 60, 70K
Yeah.
at town meeting
Yeah.
26.
Yeah, so we would recommend, we would recommend just moving that.
To
with,
fit, yeah.
You know, they'd be coming there, what we'd be paying for is at least 2 select board meetings, an alternative analysis report, site description, conceptual plans, cost estimates. And comparative analysis for any recommended alternatives.
Can they, or either firm actually, would they be able to do this in light of our schedule for the wastewater treatment facility? As to when the land would be available and what land would be available?
It'd be hard for them to look at that and just more or less visualize there being.
If that land is,
Yeah.
because we're not gonna get that until sometime November to see exactly how things are gonna be placed there. But we're gonna assume that
Nothing's gonna be located
Up.
above the existing.
where the lagoons are or the sludge, drying bed and all of that. But that's a multi-year process too. That's not gonna happen until after.
Yeah, and that's why I think it was important that we start the process now,
Yeah,
because this is
yeah.
a multi-year. Consideration. This is, certainly not not a small project for the town to consider,
Yeah.
you know, so, and I don't know. You know, there's a lot of discussion that has to go in of, you know, of timeline, whether they want to. I don't think the question is, do we have to do it? It's when.
Sure.
And we've kicked the can down the road. Put it this way, I've been through this process. The first time I did was 2005.
Mm-hmm,
I've been through this process again in 2009
mm-hmm.
and again in 2012.
Mm.
So
And the town
I've
has
been,
never-
and the town
has never,
has already
Authorized going forward
Has
with any
never-
of these.
correct.
Right.
So fourth time's a charm.
Did Verdantes have a similar timeline as Turner? or
They
did-
did, I'll tell you right now. Phase one. They said about 4 weeks for, so basically 8 weeks for, phase one and 9 weeks for phase two. But I think they're set, they were estimating they would just, as soon as phase one was finished, they'd roll it right into phase two. If there's certainly a
Right.
funding factor where we're
Yeah.
only gonna be able to fund phase one and we have to wait for phase two.
Well, they,
Certainly, we'd want a contract with a,
right,
you know,
with that,
with a
with
clause
that,
that.
we usually do.
Money's not,
But their own, they come in at about 58, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, we
Yeah.
had 50 set aside, so
Well, isn't it 68?
was it 68? Did I
Is
do
it
my math
16
wrong?
and 42? Is that right?
16 and 42, yeah. So it's 50,
Oh,
58.
58, sorry.
Yeah.
So
That's-
58,
I'm
so
doing the new math.
we don't necessarily need to go forward with another request. I mean, $8,000, we can take out of one of our
Mhm.
funds if we wanted to.
Yeah,
But as far as when they could start, was Verdantes also the November to January start for the phase one, or did they get into that?
they didn't get into that specifically, they just gave us an anticipated duration. I think
Okay.
it's whenever we say go
Okay.
and, have a contract with them.
Right, and then over the next 13 weeks or whatever, they
Yeah.
do their thing.
Yeah.
Any further comments? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think. Obviously, there is the cost issue, but then. We're also looking at a quality of output issue,
Mhm.
which is important to the
Mhm.
town. Because I think it's important that we don't. Spend money and then find out, well, this is kind of lacking or whatever. So. Your opinion seems to be rather strongly towards what the
Turner.
Turner Group.
Mhm.
And how strongly do you stand by that recommendation versus, if you will, the Verdantes group? Given the differences in the cost
Roughly half,
associated with
or
it.
twice, or however. you like.
Yeah, roughly twice, but they were in the middle, you know, they weren't the lowest,
Right.
bidder, and they certainly weren't the highest.
Right.
You know, doing this for so long, you know, knowing that it's not always the lowest bidders is the price point is not always you're getting what
Right, sure.
we're looking for.
Yeah,
And that's why I recommended Turner, because I thought that their work product and what they could do, it's certainly a perception issue when you're taking on a project like we know about this, of being able to really express to the town what our needs are, what our current situation is,
Mhm.
and why the project is important. And being able to illustrate that in a way, I think in their presentation, they've shown me that part of it is probably the part that's
Right.
gonna make the project either live or die. And I think they stand
Well, that's
as
an
the
important
strongest, they stand as the strongest one that I
Mhm.
feel could push the project forward. And I understand what the climate is in you know, all the other things that are going on in town too. So that's why I feel like that's probably one of the most important parts
Right.
of this project.
Did you have that same feeling, Steve?
I did.
The issue, of course, is that town meeting may turn down the request
Right.
for an extra 70,000, roughly $60,000,
Mhm.
$70,000 to do phase two, and then we just stuck with having spent 26,000 on phase one.
Yep.
Right. And in reality, there were 4.2 points difference between them, so it wasn't like one you scored 10 or 20 points differently than the other, it was.
No, they were
Relatively.
pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it came down to, like I just said, it's that being the presentation part of it is being able to express what our needs are and really what the quality of the product that they're pushing forward, you know, all their experience for all these other buildings.
Hmm.
You know, there's other stuff that are going on in configurations that we're seeing is totally. You know, I've been here for 22 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
So-
out there. You know, I rely on these guys are the experts to say, hey, you should be building it this way.
Here's what's working, here's what's not.
working, and what's what isn't.
So doing this back of the envelope, but $70,000 would be roughly 8-9 cents on the tax rate per thousand. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Right, 750,000 is $1,
Mhm.
right? So 75,000 would be 10 cents.
Right.
So 70 would be
Mhm.
8-9 cents on the
Mhm.
thousand. We would be adding to the tax rate to do this.
Yeah,
Potentially, if we, yeah.
And, you know, my point is, we're trying to put forward a project. We're sitting here in a 50-plus-year-old building.
Right.
We're trying to plan for the future for not only town hall, potentially the post office, but potentially
Mhm.
all our fire EMS and police department, you know, for the future. And that's gonna be no short ask, you know, of our citizens, but
Mhm.
um. Like I was trying to say is, it's not, it's definitely, not that we have to do it, but it's when.
Mhm.
And trying to get the ball rolling here, you know, doing nothing, years after years of either saying no or doing nothing is not helping. And we gotta start getting the ball rolling, and we have to start working on solutions for this problem. And again, I don't know what that timeline is, but that's what we're hoping that these folks will help us out with.
I have one more question. Given the potential for significant development within the town and the need for additional infrastructure. Potentially the fire engines, ambulance, et cetera, police.
Oh, I hope not.
Well. Ultimately, if
Yeah,
we're
but down the road.
doing
you're
a
right.
lot more and we're doing such, we may end up where we have to have 2 ambulances, for instance.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely correct.
The question is, did you discuss that potential growth of the town with the candidates?
I think in
You
some
know, the
respect, yes, but
credits.
we really didn't get into the detail of that would be in phase one.
Okay,
You know, that part of it, when they do a space needs. You know, we're gonna try to answer the question for them. What are each of our departments gonna look like 30 years from now?
okay.
You know, and
Mhm.
what potentially could that look like? And how does that fit into the plan of us moving forward and creating the concept for us
Yeah.
to look at?
Yeah, my concern is simply replacing what we have with what we have may not be sufficient for the future. And
Absolutely.
we have to have at least some element of vision of looking forward
Mhm.
in this process.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure that as we speak with these different groups or whatever, that there's at least some understanding that, okay, this is what we are today, but we may have to be something different tomorrow
Yes,
or in the future.
we didn't plan on 5 years ago or a population
Right.
doubling,
Correct.
Right.
you know? And
Indeed.
we've had to grow, we've had to grow with that. And so those are some of the things that, our current conditions are our current conditions, but let's try to plan for the future
Yeah.
of what this, if we're putting good money, we want the town's, taxpayer dollars to go forward into something that's very well thought out and not excessive, but meets the needs.
Right.
Mhm.
For the Verdantes, you mentioned that they had strengths with funding strategies. And ability to deliver budget conscious solutions, but the funding strategies really caught my eye. Do they have that kind of specialty in finding grants or that type of thing?
I don't believe there was anything specifically mentioned in their proposal, as far as grants, but I think all of these candidates are pretty well versed in what's certainly available out there. I don't know, seeing how, our current climate, the money's kind of dried up for a lot of those things, but I don't know what else is potentially is out there. They didn't really get into the details
Okay.
as far as specific funding, but I think for this, once they do a conceptual plan, there a lot of I believe it was these two spelled out, it was they can give you current pricing for if you pick this option. This is an estimate of what that would cost
Sure.
at the current prices, and that's what really would be, looking for, because we really want to put real dollars to what that's what the project's going to cost. What I pay attention for is the companies, and Turner seemed to do very good. They were within 3 to 5%. I know typical 10% is a industry standard. But what impressed me is 3 to 5% is actual cost versus estimated cost. And that's a big deal to me,
Sure.
I don't want to see, then say it's gonna be, $8 million and it's 16.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, none of us need that.
yeah, you want to stay away from those kinds of groups. So what they're giving you for an actual price is what it should come out to.
All right. And then with Turner, you wrote about risks involve reliance on out-of-state PS specialists. Is that police station specialists? It's sort of at the end
Public
of the Turner
safety?
group.
Oh, yeah. That's public safety.
So they do more work out of state than in?
Yes,
Okay, but they are based in Concord, New Hampshire.
they're based in Concord.
Okay.
Is this a public meeting? Can we speak or no?
It's up to us to decide, so we're still talking among ourselves at the moment. Well, I mean, again, if my back of the envelope math works properly on a $500,000 property, an extra 70,000 at current valuation is something like $45 added to the $45 added to the tax bill. Again, I think I'm doing that right, but maybe not.
I certainly would want to approach for phase one. we can afford that with the monies that has been currently allocated for this project. Or portion of the project. And then utilizing them to certainly explain to the community what they're going to be providing when they're asking for,
Right, we
asking
need
for the
some
additional
Right.
fund.
type of,
We would be looking for their support there to
right,
help present to the folks of what exactly on phase two or we're gonna,
Right,
they're
right,
paying
we
for.
need, so if we were to sign a contract, it would have to have some kick-out clause or whatever the appropriate
Yeah.
terminology is. That if we stop at phase one, we stop at phase one. We're not required to move into phase two until we get, or unless we get approval, authorization at town meeting
Yeah, we
for
want,
additional, whatever, $60,000-$70,000.
certainly confirm the scope, the fee transparency, and then any of the community engagement commitments that we're gonna put on them would be spelled out in our contract.
Yeah.
If they're gonna come in phase two, they're gonna come to town meeting.
Mhm. Yes, they will.
You know.
Yeah.
Would the board like to hear from anybody in public that's here?
I'm okay with that.
Sure, anyone who's here, would they like to comment?
John Panicella, Windsor Hill. I know I came late, but I'm getting the vibe that phase one is conceptual drawings, elevations, things like that to present to the town.
That would be phase two.
That'd be phase two. What's phase one? then?
Phase one is a space needs assessment. So they would come in, take a look at our current conditions of the buildings, the town-owned property.
Do surveys.
And do surveys. They would talk to all the employees as far as what kind of space that we would potentially need for a new building. What that would look like, and then they would come together with, okay, we've decided that this many square feet would be appropriate to fit everything that.
Times 50% for 30 years out or something of that nature.
Whatever, yeah. So phase one figures out what we need for space. Phase two tells us with that information, then gives us three conceptuals that we could look at and evaluate.
That would be phase two, upon which we would have the town input to look at those three elevations, plans, things like that,
Absolutely. Yep.
and make a decision. Has nothing to do with architectural plans, no building at that point.
No, I think they'll have some conceptual plans, like based on if, they felt like we needed to do a combined town hall, public safety building, what potentially that could look like. And where, where in the town property that would go.
I mean, it seems to me we could, if we're looking for a space needs assessment, if we have a appropriate wording in the contract, we will get that with Turner for $26,000. Whether we decide to move ahead with phase two, we can decide at that time with input, or town meeting would decide at that time with input from us and from the firm.
Yeah.
So it would be a two-step process. So that's either good
Mhm.
or bad.
No matter who we pick, we're really at a two-step process.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yes, in the larger sense, although we can, it's, yes, I was thinking, yes, okay, that's good.
Has anyone given you the phase three where, gee, you go to the town, we've looked at the elevations, we vote on option two, and then they say, well, detailed architectural plans are ready, it's gonna be X.
that would be after phase two, that would be a whole other town meeting, and.
Would that be approval to go ahead with a
Yeah.
X million dollar project?
But they haven't given us, oh gee, it would be another $100,000 to do those plans.
Well, I think it would have to depend on what the options.
Which
we
option
have.
we
Yeah,
select.
What options, because then,
Right,
yes, it would have.
but
to
that would
have
just
a-
be, right, the engineering is what you're really talking about, right? I bet that would have to be part of a larger $20 million project, $15 million
The
project.
Yeah.
engineering is typically a percentage of the
Right.
size of the project, so
Right.
it depends on which way we'd go.
And this is much larger, much more down the road. There's much potential, whether there's a committee or town input into, you know, what they feel and what they think this project, that is certainly part of what those proposals are. This is just to get us a start, just someplace to start getting people to start thinking about, all right, we have to replace these buildings.
Right.
Where do we start? You know, what's our options?
And why?
So, I mean, the board want to discuss it anymore? Either we have to make a vote or not. I would,
I'm okay where we are right now.
okay, so I mean, do we want to, I mean, I would make the motion to go ahead with the proposal presented to us by Turner with the understanding that we need some sort of escape clause, whatever the contingency, I forget what the exact terminology is, to get town approval to move ahead with phase two, which looks like it would be about another $60,000-$70,000.
Yes.
But at the end of this, at the $26,000 mark, we do get a space needs assessment, which is what we wanted to begin with. So that's a
I
long
would
motion
second
and,
that.
yeah.
Motion.
yeah. Is that, Kristen, did that make sense? You think you can narrow it down to? The key is just the ability to, a contract that we can, exercise or not, the second phase, but to go ahead not to exceed 26, was it 26,000 on the button? Or was it-
27,
Why don't we just make it a even 30? I mean, make it.
we already have, we have 50 appropriated for
right.
this, but the contract, yeah, 30 will cover it.
Phase one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
To make that a 30,000, not to exceed $30,000. I mean, obviously we have to look at the contract in detail, but to move ahead with the proposal, we're not approving the contract. We're just going ahead with accepting their proposal for the phase one for approximately 30, not to exceed $30,000. Phase two, somewhere in the 60 to 70, but that would be contingent upon town meeting vote.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I may have just shortened it.
I will second that
All right.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for all that work, Chief. That was very, very helpful. Okay, let's go back to the top of of our agenda. Minutes. I think we got two minutes. I saw two. I think the 19th and the 20, or was it which ones were they? The 24th and the 19th and the 24th. Okay, I provided some changes. I think I had mentioned to Steve, I don't have access to that shared folder. Or if I do, I didn't know that. Right, no, so I'm saying I'm just gonna accept that you made every change that, I had a couple questions. I assume you were able to get the answers to those questions. Okay, I'm fine with that. But I think you probably do you have access to that shared folder?
We just went through it today since I'll be starting for October.
Oh, okay, so
for
that's
the
right, we
next
had,
quarter.
okay.
So it's my turn.
all right, okay.
Yeah, so we went through that today and I'm sure I'll be calling Steve and Kristen and begging them for help for the next few weeks.
All right.
but-
So anyone else have any changes or comments on the minutes as presented and any changes you made to them?
I mean, it was just challenging to get through it. I didn't get a chance to review them completely, but I trust that you guys.
Yeah, I looked at it. It was a little
Sorry.
difficult because it didn't have the line numbers.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
that's
actually
helpful.
had to re-listen to the entire 3.5 hour meeting from the 19th. Because there were a couple of, there was at least one place where we had made a motion to do something that was left completely out of the minutes.
Hmm.
And so I listened from the beginning to the end to try and make sure. And I
They made those
added,
changes.
yeah, I added some sections in there over what the original draft was.
Okay, so since you did all that, would you like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as amended today. By Kristen
For the dates.
with your,
Yeah,
for the 19th,
and
and the
the 24th. Right, we're
24th.
still waiting to get the 25th, right?
20.
I think that was just a special,
I got two. I didn't see three.
I think the 25th was a special, non-public, or it didn't have a lot of the public in it, so I don't think it was video.
Yeah, I think we went right
I think
into
it was just
non-public
No, I know, okay, right. So the minutes, so it's in the non-public
Yeah.
format.
format.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's really nothing for us to,
Nothing to approve.
nothing to approve. Okay, But-
Yes.
so the 19th and 24th.
Who seconded that?
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll try to make sure we get things out earlier, because just getting the packet on Monday and then the minutes on Tuesday, there's no way with working that it can all
Yeah.
get done and reviewed in time for today.
Yeah, we'll just defer them then, you know, if
Yeah,
the
yeah.
schedule is such that, you know, either we're too busy or you folks, staff are too busy to actually get it to us, more than a couple of days before, we'll just defer it to the next.
Yeah.
Next meeting. The draft, satisfies the legal requirement.
Right,
And that's one thing I feel like this process is allowed to do much
Yeah.
better, is have a draft set completed within that 5-day
Right,
parameter
right.
that we're given.
And then we can
Yep, disseminate. if
go back
anyone
and
asks.
forth, right, on all the details,
Yep.
right? Okay, that takes care of the minutes. Let's go back to new business. A review of former town manager ad hoc committee involvement. Of course, Mark, God bless him, had his hands in a lot of different ad hoc committees.
Yeah.
So we just need to decide how he would like to handle those. He was our representative in a couple of them. And a couple were his initiative, so let's go over them. I'm just trying to get back to my notes here.
Find it now.
So,
I can run down the list if you'd like, Rich.
yeah, so we have the Education Coalition Committee. Now, I think, Steve, you told me that you've talked to, one of the people,
Yeah,
people there?
Paul DeShane, I believe he is assuming the chair position that Mark held in the interim until they vote on a new chair.
okay,
So he did give me kind of a brief update of where they stand, and there's not a lot of change right now. He said that from his perspective, he would love to have some type of representation from Waterville Valley to continue on the coalition. However, there's no immediate need, but he would definitely appreciate it if we remained involved. To which I asked, does that need to be at the staff level? Could it be at the board level? And he said that it's kind of a mix amongst the coalition of who participates. He said some towns have their select board member get involved with the board meetings. Some towns have town staff. So he said whatever works for you would.
right.
but every coalition member has someone physically present at all the meetings?
No,
Oh,
he said they've struggled recently getting a quorum.
okay,
That's why he would hope that.
Whoever we select actually attends the meeting. And we're still gonna be
Actually
part of the coalition.
Right,
As I think I
Yeah.
sent you around that,
Yeah.
that news article, the battle is still, the war is not over, if I can
No.
put it that way. We've
Yeah.
kind of won more or less the initial skirmishes. but
right,
It's coming back, right, at us again, so
it will be.
I think we still want to be part of it. I guess we're just not gonna have, whoever our representative is will not be the director, so we need to pick somebody who will attend the meetings,
Correct.
whether it's a staff member or
Hmm.
one of us. We don't have to do that right now.
How often do they meet?
I believe monthly, and it looked like their last meeting in was it September, was down in Manchester at the law offices. McPhinney, I believe, is the law firm that.
Hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's consistent to where they meet,
I
but
Concord a lot. I think I
Concord
met
too.
in Concord a lot, and Mark attended legislative committee meetings.
Right,
Yeah.
I think mainly because he was the chair
right,
and he actually made presentations, but that may not be part of the job description for anyone from Waterville Valley.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to select. You guys want to think about it? Do I have
Yeah,
a
let's think about it.
volunteer?
Yeah, I want to
Think about it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll find out a little bit more about it.
That's-
All right. North Country Council.
So Mark was actively, I don't,
He was a director,
I think
wasn't he?
he
He was
was
one of the, was he one of the directors?
one of the directors on the
Yeah.
board. I've talked to Michelle, who is the executive director of the North
Yeah.
Country Council, and she said we would love to have, you know, you or another member of the staff continue to be involved at the board level. It's helpful for them. I said that I would just pass that along to the select board to,
Right.
for a decision, and she said, you know, whatever they decide. to
Again,
do.
how does that representation work? Do you know?
Not exactly. I just know some of the benefits that the North Country Council.
Yeah,
has
it's an important board for us.
provided to the town have been,
Right.
Well, I think initially,
Substantial.
wasn't Mark looking for a planning board member to go regularly, and then he defaulted to going because no one could make that commitment, want that,
Right.
it's up, way up north, right, the meeting,
yeah, Littleton, I believe,
yeah.
they meet.
Oh, is it just Littleton? I
They-
thought it was
pretty-
even further,
It's not
but
that far.
I'm pretty sure it's Littleton.
Bethlehem,
I thought it was Bethlehem too.
Bethlehem. Maybe they moved.
I don't recall him asking the planning board, but that would be a great suggestion.
That would be not all the things that the North Country Council does is planning board related, but a lot are,
A lot of-
most of them, I think.
Yeah,
We use them, I think, most recently, well, to hire a land use contract planner, and before that, the housing study.
Yeah.
correct.
And that both of those were planning board initiatives, so,
And then
I-
they help us, they help facilitate some grants. The Northern Borders
right,
Regional Commission grant
Right.
is something that came down that pipeline.
yeah, I can see why Mark wanted to be on top of it, because it does cross a number of town issues as well.
If we had a select board member participating in that role, do we end up in a conflict of interest situation with respect to the planning board at any juncture?
I don't know. It's a good question. Depends what the role is too. I think we need a little bit more information here too, as to what they're looking for in a representative. It's just someone to attend scheduled meetings. I don't think that would be a conflict of interest. You're just the town representative,
Yeah.
whether you're planning board or select board.
No, exactly.
But
But
there's
if you're
something
making a
coming back
decision-
our way
if
or
you're
any
making a decision.
actions
Right,
relative
It
to the
could.
town.
it could.
So if
Yeah.
there were, I just want us to think about that
Right.
I'll find out some
beforehand.
more detail on the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's something we should mention tomorrow. I'll try to remember it. I'll write a note to myself, at the planning board meeting. See if there's anyone on the planning board who would be interested in attending.
Okay.
Or being a representative, but they'll have the same question. What are the duties?
Requirements. Yeah,
Yeah, expectations for attendance.
yeah, I'll find out.
Yeah, Liz may be able to help us too. We talk to her tomorrow
Yeah,
when she's here.
Yeah.
I think she's coming. Is she coming tomorrow or is she zooming?
As far as I know, she'll be here.
She'll be here, okay. And I guess that leaves, let's see, the Ray Center.
So Leah stopped by,
Right.
say a couple of weeks ago, and, you know, basically the same thing that I'm getting from these other committees, you know, what's the town's plan to continue to support us at the board level or not?
Mm.
And, you know, some things that were important to her is that we did have an ear to the ground over there. She doesn't, I don't think, have the expectation for whoever supports or whoever joins the board at the Ray Center to take on, I think, such a lift that Mark had with respect to the budgetary aspects and everything, but she would definitely like some kind of a representation.
Well, yeah,
Because
I
we do
mean,
manage the
that was
buildings
the,
and.
that was the original intent, that the select board would have a representative on the Ray Center board, not necessarily the director. I think, I can't remember exactly what I think he was he the direct chair?
Chair of the board.
Chair of the board, and that raised some issues. I think we had
it did.
some folks talk to us about a potential conflict of interest.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
So, but we definitely want to, I think it makes sense to keep that with the town manager.
Okay.
And not necessarily the chair of the board, but as the select board's representative to the Ray Center, because, you know, we own the building And we're coordinating projects too. We have the funding. So that would be my initial cut at it. What do you guys think? Leave it with the town manager.
Yeah, once again, we certainly don't want to get into the conflict of interest type scenario, so.
When it comes to the preschool and the budgeting for the preschool and the operating
Right,
budget,
Mark
Right.
stepped in because
Right.
to offer some support.
to offer support, and that
Right.
did raise a couple questions, and we were able to answer those questions, but we do need a representative for sure, so let's leave it with the manager. You guys agree?
I think that's
The
fine.
town manager?
Okay.
Yeah. And last is in New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank.
Mark was, at the time of his passing, treasurer, but
Right.
the former president
Right.
of the bond bank.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's one we just dropped,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't a representation for the town, it was just his
I think,
initiative to be associated with the bond bank. It was very helpful to the
It
town.
was, yeah, as a way to get
Extremely
a lot of
helpful.
information for.
Right,
but
and if we have
it
someone,
was certainly time consuming, I'd have to imagine,
yeah,
but again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you speak with someone there?
yes, I have good relationships with Tammy, who's the director over there, and the assistant director, Jill. They're fantastic to work with. I don't think that they have any expectation that anyone from the town of Waterville Valley will continue to represent the board
Okay.
of the bond bank in any capacity. They haven't
Okay.
at least conveyed that
that
to me.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was just, from my perspective, Mark found a funding source for the community that was, from an interest rate standpoint, very favorable
Mhm.
and wanted to maintain that relationship
Right,
and
So
did so
stepped
through
into-
stepping in on the board.
on the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Okay,
But if anything changes there, I'd let you know if they reach out for more support or anything.
okay. And that looks like, that's it. So we need to get back, decide what we want to do with, North Country Council and the Education Coalition.
Yep, I'll do some fact finding on what their expectations are.
Right. Okay,
Let you know.
all
Okay.
right, good. And we can raise it tomorrow at the planning board, see if anyone's interested there
Okay.
on the NCC. Okay, moving along, more or less. So, Dylan, we had a compliance, visit. Was it two, one or two?
We had a compliance visit, then we had an operations.
An operations, our visit, was it last week, the week before?
November 23rd.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, and we had a report on the compliance in particular. Would you
Yeah, I
care
can
to
Summarize it.
summarize it for us? Yeah,
More or less, what was pointed out throughout the report, as well as the letter, they gave us a formal letter that I think that the board received as well.
Mhm.
We do a site walk, they look at all of our submittals, our monthlies, if, board is recalls. We had compliance issues with ammonia, that's why we failed 2 wet tests, in the first quarter and the second quarter, coming out of lagoons. Upon the site visit, I mean, and Dick Emberly, who's our site inspector, he noticed it last year as well. The sludge there's so much sludge in the lagoons, it's on the banks of the lagoons now, so. It's at the point now where anything that we do, then is going to make our problem significantly worse. Since the lagoons are full of sludge. In terms of capacity, those lagoons are supposed to hold roughly 3 million gallons of water. And they're about 80% full of sludge. So.
Wow.
we haven't taken any sludge out for how many decades? When?
1998 was
All
the
right.
last time we had any sludge removed.
So 25 years.
So in the
Plus.
report,
Yeah.
yeah, and in the report, he basically highlights that and verbally had told me that anything that we do that's going to, after we receive this report, anything that we do, if we have a violation, they can't defend us. They're gonna say, we've recommended that you don't do anything to potentially make this ammonia issue worse, which is where the septage from the resort ties into this.
Hmm.
It's such a large volume over, comparatively, we don't take any septage all year long. So that's where my hands are tied from the sense of the state is telling me as the licensee of the facility, if you take this and you have an upset, we're not gonna defend you when it comes to the EPA, which is what they did. If you recall, the state went to bat for us regarding our wet test vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's the rock and the hard place that the town is in.
So there's really two issues. I mean, for me, the larger issue right away is there anything the state is requiring us to do to address
Yeah,
the sludge in there now?
It's recommended that we remove it as soon as possible.
Yes, I saw that. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, and like a administrative order, no, we're not at that level, but if, you know, if we have, as an example, this upcoming winter, we have issues with ammonia in our wet test because we're not in a compliance window
Right.
for ammonia, but if it impacts our wet test, EPA is on notice already, right? We had to notify them of our failures.
Yes,
So there could be action that comes from the
Right.
administrative arm of EPA, which would be DES in that regard, so.
all right. So they're not requiring us to do anything.
but what
I mean,
does it,
they've advised us to remove it as soon as possible.
Right, but that
so-
would cost how much?
yeah, that,
Millions of dollars. And that was part of the closure of the lagoon sometime in the next.
well, can you just
Decade.
remove some of it? So maybe it's like 500,000? I
No,
mean,
I
don't know.
think you can, but really all you're doing. So you gotta think about it like this, so majority of the sludge that's in there is decades old, right? So basically what happens is every time the lagoons turn over, so the water temperature is
Yeah.
inverse. What's happening is all the ammonia and nitrogen is being released from the bottom to the top. So once that settles, that sludge settles back down, you're just compacting it and it's decomposing over and over. That's never going away, right? It's truly we're only adding to the issue as we sit here and we even treat our wastewater on a daily basis because we're still accumulating sludge.
Right,
So. Yeah. I mean, and again, put it into perspective, and I know that, and I'm glad that Tim's here. I don't want to come across that, you know, this is solely to the resort. The only issue is that the resort is the only one we take septic from on our annual basis.
Mm.
The homeowners don't bother, because the septic haulers don't want to be coming into town.
These are the 30 or so houses
Yeah.
that are not on the system.
Right, Snows Mountain Road, West Branch Road, River Road, a few that are on, West
Right,
Branch and River.
so they contract
Septic hauler.
septic,
Yeah.
usually Rowell's, I think, I see
Yeah.
around a lot.
And they don't wanna come into town empty, and we don't allow them to discharge anything here at the facility unless they come into town empty with one load.
Right,
So, because we don't wanna take something from another community, especially with the issue
Right.
we've already had going on. And we don't know what's in it, right? So we don't wanna take something, put it into our lagoons and have this.
Right.
Massive upset that kills all of our microorganisms. So that's truly the reason why. I mean, we didn't have an issue with it in the past because the lagoons hadn't gotten to the level that they're at now
Mhm.
in terms of the sludge that's in them.
Okay.
But now that we're, having regulatory issues, and that's where we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with it.
right,
does so the state's not requiring, they recommend that we immediately remove the sludge.
Mhm.
But they're not ordering us to do so. So the other question I have is, can we continue to operate over the next, I mean, we're looking at what, 5, 6 years
Mhm.
before the new plant comes online? So I know it's a tough projection, I know, but what's your sense of that aspect of this question?
Yeah, no, Mark and I had previous discussions about this, and we were both in alignment with the stance of the sooner we remove it, the better we're gonna be. Because as, it's kind of been scattered throughout, but in conversations that we've had with the board as well. Problem is that sludge is getting harder and harder to get rid of. I mean, Maine used to take it and they used to use it for agricultural purposes, once it was conditioned to a Class A biosolid. Canada used to take it, once the PFAS regulations came out, they shut off the United States entirely.
Mm.
Truly, the only avenues now are Synagro in Providence, Rhode Island, which is, I don't know how many miles, 200, 300 miles from here, roughly. Which is, that's a truck coming up, taking sludge down, or bringing our sludge to a larger facility, which they're not doing that anymore either, like Manchester that has an incinerator, something along the lines of that, they turn into a filter cake, then they landfill that. Or an ash, if you will, they more or less burn off the organic to reduce volume. But I mean, timeframe wise, what I don't want to have happen is have us wait too long and then we're in violation over and over again.
Right,
Yeah.
And then now it's costing us money on the regulatory end, and now we're doing it in a pinch. you
right.
know?
Is it, but does it make sense then to move up? I mean, the plan wasn't to do this until the other plant, our new plant was up and running, and then we turned to the decommissioning of the lagoons.
Right.
Is it worth doing that bit now? Does it make a difference?
I think we had hopes to be able to push it off. The question, I have talked to Black and Beach extensively about this. We haven't really settled this in terms of what's the balancing act of time versus cost.
Right,
Because both of them are uncertain, really, but it's.
No, because I believe that as part of the decommissioning.
Mhm.
The potential to backfill those lagoons and not remove that sludge is slight and remote, but is that?
No, so the idea was if we remove the sludge in advance of decommissioning the facility, then we could probably leave the sludge that's there and just and more or less cap it with material after that. What's there now, that's not an option. We have to dredge the lagoons regardless.
Regardless.
And again, the question is, as we've seen with the cost of the facility and everything else, and
gonna cost more,
Not
5,
too
6 years from now.
right, but just the wastewater in general, everything is getting more and more limited with what we can do with it. So
I see,
it
right,
it makes it not only more expensive, but harder to get a contractor to bid on.
right, which
So-
makes it more expensive.
Right. So, I mean, there's a number of issues that are kind of compounding each other.
Okay.
With the age of the facility, that's the other aspect of it.
All right. So I think we need to have a larger conversation about how
Yeah.
it might fit in the schedule with the wastewater treatment facility, the new one coming on. So
And Black and Beach, you said you're still going back and forth with them about it? Were they not sure of the?
We started, did we do a contract amendment with them for that? I think we did.
I think so.
It was under the existing facility
It did.
conditions, yeah.
figure out when to do this and
Yeah.
how much it would cost. Yeah.
Because so much has gone kind of, once we started hearing that they had concerns that what we had appropriated wasn't going to be adequate, we kind of shifted gears and told them to put their focus on that. So this is kind of taking a back burner. But Steve and I had a meeting with them Friday to kind of shift gears back into that, because this is the problem. After getting this report, I forwarded this to Mario Francucci from Black and Beach and said, hey, this is now even more of an issue than, obviously than last year, but now the state is telling us, you're playing with fire here. It's just a matter of time before you get burned, more or less. So.
Okay. All right, so we need to get some kind of guidance from Black and Beach on this. We're still waiting for that. But that brings us now to the question of the request from the ski resort to dump their septage. I think it was about 28,000 gallons into the lagoon. So any comments on that?
Well, it seems like our hands might be tied. I mean. how
Where
can
else
we-
can it go?
So what I can do, Tim, in coordination with you, is I can reach out to facilities around us.
Mhm.
Ashland takes it, Plymouth takes it. What I would try to help do is find who is willing to take all of it and give you the best rate. I can also try to utilize whatever I have for resources for trucking companies. I mean, I know that you guys have used Septic Solutions in the past. If they give you the best rate, and so be it.
Yeah. Well, there's not many people who go up there.
That's the
So
problem.
they gotta go up to Schwindy and they gotta go to the sunny side.
I'm just trying to think of larger volumes and save you trucking cost. Right, so I don't know if there's a way to do a tandem with, like, you have a pumper that. Again, I'm just trying to get creative here, but have a pumper that pumps out Schwindy and Sunnyside, comes down, loads it into a 18-wheeler hauler and hauls that down, because they don't necessarily need to pump off, and that would save you. 10,000 gallons is a load in a 18-wheeler. Again, so I'm just trying to reduce costs on that end, because obviously this is short notice. I mean, I think that's the concern of
Yeah.
the board, is the last thing we want to do is impact the resort financially, because this isn't something that's in the norm for you guys to budget for. So we're cognizant of that, and that's kind of why we're taking this even more of a sensitive subject than we would have. So if you want me to work with them directly, if you want me to work with whomever from your end, I'll use whatever resources I have to.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part that we have right now is that it needs to be done
Yeah,
today.
right,
Should have been done last week.
yeah,
And right now we have, like, any day now, we're gonna freeze. And we cannot pump those tanks after they freeze, and if we get blockage in those tanks,
yeah,
we're in a real bad situation.
so,
That's our problem right now, there's no time.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, in septic solutions or septic solutions rather, I know they do business with Ashland and Plymouth as well, so they're no strangers to bringing things there.
The biggest concerns are Sunnyside and Schwindy.
Yeah.
Those two tanks,
How big are they roughly?
I have no idea, they're the smaller ones.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Sunnyside is hardly anything because we hardly use it.
Right,
And then Schwindy is a pretty small tank. Those are the number one, those are the two concerns that
So
we
you
have
bring
right
up
now,
those
because
two.
the other ones is right next to admin, we can pump that at any point.
okay,
So
Yeah.
those two are the major concern that we have right now, because if we freeze up, we can't get a truck there.
gotcha, yeah. I mean. And like I said, in terms of facilitating, I can call those facilities and ask if they're willing to take, I know they take septic every day. They use it as a revenue source. The difference is that their facilities are, 4 or 5 times the capacity of what we are. And they actually, Plymouth, for example, uses their septic for thickening of their sludge. They use it as a coagulation aid. So anyway, I'll work, we can figure something out. I know timing is of the essence. I don't know if we can get together, or I can talk to you tomorrow or whatever. We can try to get something the ball rolling tomorrow or this week. To try to get it addressed. Like you said, I know what frost is on the horizon.
Yeah.
So.
Especially up at Sunnyside,
Yeah.
or about Schwindy, that's the
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah, so, and that was the only reason was, like I said, the decision necessarily wasn't that I didn't want to give you guys an answer. It's that my hands are tied of, this is my certification I hold, and then, bouncing it from the town's aspect, I didn't want to rub salt in the wound or anything like that either. So anything I can do to help, like I said, I will be in communication with you, and, we'll make it happen. I don't know the volume of those tanks, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't be able to get those done within a day or two. It's just really depending upon their availability of the hauler, so.
So Dylan will be able to help and.
Yeah.
Move forward in that.
Well, it's not only this year then, but it means that
No,
in
yeah.
future years, we will no longer be accepting septage from the resort.
From anyone.
Well, from anyone, but I don't think there's anyone else in town.
Yeah, the only issue is by law. When
Right,
it comes to
Oh, true.
residences,
True.
we have to at a minimum facilitate it if we can't receive it, if they
Okay.
want to bring it to us. And like I said, most haulers don't want to be bothered, so that they don't even.
law requires the town to provide facilitation to residential users.
That's correct.
But beyond that, there's no requirement on a municipality to accept septage from a business in town, a commercial entity in town. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. I mean, depending upon how you, again, I'm not suggesting that we do this, but depending upon how we do it, if we do have the sludge removed from the lagoons, we could go back to taking it from the perspective of, we're not going to be, that volume over the next 3 or 4 years is not going to add up.
Right.
We're talking the sample
But
size,
we have to see what
30 years.
Black and Veatch though, and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sooner rather than later, obviously is the better choice.
Absolutely,
But-
yeah, it's gonna take time though for us to come up with a plan, Rich, I think. it's
Yeah,
getting
no,
at and
that's-
execute
that's-
that plan,
no.
so.
I think that's,
But theoretically doing that now, it's part of the decommissioning, so it's part of the funds that we currently
Right.
have.
Right,
for
right, no,
them.
that's
So
what
it's not
I
like
was
going to
thinking.
town
We just
meeting
need
to
a,
ask for
we
the
just need a
funds.
plan from
Right,
Black and Veatch to move ahead with
yeah, no,
that.
just to clarify that.
Yes, no, you're right,
Funny.
correct.
absolutely, I hit the nail on the head.
All right,
Just so we're clear that the state, the reason for this is the state is saying that because of the ammonia levels, we can't take any more off systems sludge or septic as it's building up in the lagoons that is making for that high ammonia level.
Yes. Yeah, so because there's so much sludge in the lagoons, then
And so at this point, they're saying that they will not stand behind the system because it's built up with too much sludge and they would like to see us remove it.
That's correct.
And if the EPA comes in with a ammonia,
If we violate.
we violate the ammonia,
We do.
then the state is not gonna give us any support,
Right.
Right.
and could be fined by the EPA.
Could be, yeah, and they're gonna, what they're, so the Operations Bureau is more or less an advocate for operators.
Okay.
However, they're funded by EPA, so they're, it's a grant, if you will, to the state of New Hampshire, that's what funds them, it's not tax dollars that funds the operations through Fund Compliance, which is funded by tax dollars. So they're there to help us, all the facilities across the state. In this instance, though, since it's been in his report twice, last year they had it in his report, and I it was, like I said, it was really short notice, and I pushed it off, I didn't want to shut you guys off. This year, he looked at it and he said, this is. We're at the point now where it would be irresponsible if you guys don't make a change, take care of this. And if you do make it worse, meaning we allow.
Well, we're already in discussions with EPA about an AOC
Correct.
because of our, already we are violating the ammonia permit schedule. Thank you. Yeah.
So. Yeah. You summed it up pretty well.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on to planning board appointments? So planning board member, full member, Rick Smith has resigned because he's moving out of town. And the planning board would like to discuss this tomorrow. There is one person who's come forward, an alternate, who was asked to replace Rick, but I talked to the chair of the planning board and would like to discuss this with the planning board tomorrow, so we won't make an appointment today, but we will do so at our next meeting on the 22nd.
Fair enough.
Old business. Update on, I don't see Megan here. Are we gonna cover for her, or do we want to push this to the 22nd?
I have a quick update here.
Okay.
I spoke to Megan prior, she's on her vacation plans got delayed a day. But she explained to me that the one entity, Will Lambert, is really the one entity that does owe her some design plans or some ideas around some of his dumpster enclosures of how he's gonna remediate the issues.
Okay.
But she said outside of Will, everyone's pretty much satisfied the requirements in terms of their proposed design. So she was under the, direction as well, all of these property owners have until July of next year to get the dumpster enclosures up to spec, up to where they need to be. I'm happy with what I've received to date. If I'm not gonna receive any conceptual designs from Will, well, he knows that July is the target date to have them remediated. I'll send out a reminder saying January, maybe another in the
I
spring,
think,
and we just move
yeah,
forward.
I felt for some time that the process was, and we should stick with it, is that if they provide us the plans, and we've extended that date several times, it would be in their interest to have our approval that this will meet it before they go and spend any money.
Right.
So if they don't want to provide the plans, the 1 July, was it 1 July?
I believe
Or
so.
31, I forget what, but anyway, the July 2026 date is the date that dumpster closures have to meet regulation. So she's reviewed what she's seen and she's gotten back to them on their plans. I heard there were a couple that,
Yeah, the one that is still a little up in the air, and I would like Megan to talk more about this, is at the athletic center.
right,
With what they've decided to do
Right.
as far as screening goes.
right. They
Um,
sent a letter to the select board,
Yes.
Rainey did a while back with their proposed solution.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's the only one I know of. I thought there may have been a couple others that she was unclear. Maybe they've talked about it.
Possibly. That's the
Yeah,
only
I'd
one
like to
she-
just clarify that. I just want to make sure everybody understands that they've got the approval from the town to go ahead with whatever they proposed.
Okay,
I don't want them to go ahead with something and then find out that it's not what's required.
then if you wouldn't mind, just if we could put that on the 10/22 meeting.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay,
And I think we need to talk with Megan, about that athletic
Yep.
Concept.
center, their concept that they would like to go forward to with.
Mhm.
um, And get her opinion on that matter as well.
Okay.
As a director. So you guys okay with that?
Sounds good.
So we have our way forward, right? We're just gonna stick with the plan. And get back to the athletic club.
Good.
That takes care of both procedure forward and unresolved designs. Update on rec land remediation efforts. So I think Steve, you and I met with
Mark Henderson.
Mark Henderson
Mhm.
to discuss this. Would you like to
Yep.
brief a bit?
So I think at least my expectation of a path forward in terms of timing was a little aggressive. Mark explained to Rich and I that the process that we need to go through with the state could be, 6 to kind of 12-month timeframe with respect to having any understanding of
What we need to do,
What
not
we-
6 to
yeah.
12 months to remediate, but
Right.
what the requirement will be.
to remediate that land. So we got a path, at least a first step path forward, and that would be for the town to engage an engineering company to do a land survey with topographics on that parcel. And he said that would be the first step in the process of him
It's required,
reaching out to the
right?
state as a
It'll be the base that the state will use
right.
Are
for
there,
other decisions.
are there certain engineering companies that the state requires for this type of purpose?
He didn't mention any.
He said we asked him that. He said that a
Qualified
qualified
land surveyor.
should be able to provide a survey with topographical features.
Hmm.
They had no recommendation on a particular one. I think we, after the meeting, we talked about it, Steve and I, and you went to Horizons, was it?
Horizons
And
and
got some quotes?
yeah, I received one quote back. I reached out to 2 firms. I can't remember the second firm, but
Right.
Horizons have gotten back to me with a quote of around $8,000 to do the work.
Right.
And that would be funded through the that FEMA grant that
Right,
we
the 50,000 we
$50,000 to-
set aside for this whole project, the remediation, so.
correct.
How much of that money is as yet unobligated?
All of it is unobligated as of this moment.
This would be the first
Draw.
step.
This would be
spend-
our
Right,
first.
Yep.
right.
Didn't we draw the 6K from there as well?
I don't remember. The 6K being the original contract and the extension.
Yeah, you're right, Dan.
Well, that was just now, we just did that, right?
With Mark,
With
was a couple
Mark.
of weeks ago.
With
I
Mark.
just gotta check the timing of that, if we obligated that prior to
Okay.
moving the FEMA funds over there or not. I think you're right, though. So that was
That was
62.50.
the notional target, so the question is, how much do we have left? 8K is certainly fits within the amount we have from FEMA.
So if it was 6, it would be what, 43 roughly?
Yep.
If it was 6
Okay,
something?
so now we use 8, that takes us down to
35.
about 35 left. Okay,
And it is something we have to do.
Yep.
So, and he recommended we do it as soon as possible,
Yep.
right? Because he needs that.
He said this would be the perfect time of year to do it.
Right, but he needs that to move forward with the state. To
Correct.
get for the rest of the paperwork to actually get the process rolling where we may get a decision 6, 8, or 9 months from
Yeah.
now as to what we need to do, but he'll be in discussion.
He said they're
with them.
severely backlogged.
Yeah,
Shocking.
Yeah.
How quickly would Horizons be able to do it?
I asked if they could do it before the end of the year and they said they could. So the fall,
Does it matter if there's, I mean, I assume we need it before there's snow, right?
I don't know. I think when Mark said this is a good time of year to do it, I think he was talking about leaf cover
yeah, just,
and getting those
Just-
measurements taken.
right.
That's
Just-
my assumption, but
Yeah, no, that's how I understood it as well.
yeah.
I mean, I think if
Okay.
Verizon can do it,
do we have to vote on this?
well, we want to expend 8,000 of that remaining. What's remaining from the 50,000, so yes.
And I'm still waiting on another quote too, so maybe we do a not to exceed.
Okay,
And if something comes in more favorable, we can,
Just so we can get it done.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we should, again, we can't move forward until this is done and Mark has that.
Right.
That was my understanding. In
Right.
order to start the application
It's-
process, he needs
right.
a survey done.
All right,
Now,
well,
was it a flat 8K?
They set a ballpark.
Okay, so.
Maybe we say,
So not to
you have
exceed.
10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
10, be safe.
okay.
Is that a motion I heard from you, Dan?
I will make a motion. Let's see, how do I say this? To accept the bid from Horizons Engineering for,
well, or any engineering firm, right?
or another engineering firm company for approximately 8K with a not to exceed value of 10K for surveying the
We call it the-
recreational.
Right, the
Land.
rec,
Newly donated recreation.
Right,
Newly
well,
donated
with the rec-
recreational
yeah.
land.
recreational center, I forget what we call it. I don't like that.
Yeah, do
name.
we have a center?
Well,
Is
no,
there
we
a
actually
name?
have a name on the sign. It's the
Okay.
Birdie and
They-
David
I think it
Recreation.
just says recreational land, right?
No, the sign may say center.
Britland.
I think the
Yeah.
sign may say
Okay.
center. Yeah,
I'll look it up. I have
With
a picture
the
of it.
all right.
funds to be expended from the,
Well, the 50,000 we
FEMA.
had set aside for it.
Yeah,
So I mean, we
set
can just
aside.
put that, I mean, we can just, we don't have to worry about FEMA anymore. I
okay,
think it's just
okay,
the 50,000
$50,000
that's
appropriate.
okay.
appropriate, yeah,
Yeah.
for it from,
Do we have a second? for
I'll
that?
second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's the Town of Water Valley Community Recreation Area.
Community recreation area.
Community recreation.
By Bertie and David Britton. So a
Okay.
lot of times it's being referred
Through
to
as-
as Britton land,
Yes.
but it's actually the Weber Valley Community Recreation Area.
The CRA.
Okay,
Community to
I
CRA.
like it.
That's a mouthful.
The CRA.
All right, no, we got it.
okay.
All right. So that's the land survey quotes. And yeah, we'll just continue to take our cues from Mark once he gets this, what the next steps
Okay.
would be, but it doesn't appear that we're gonna make any changes to that land for a couple years minimum.
Yeah, I believe Rich, his only guidance was, you know, as far as any land modifications go. He said if there's general trail maintenance of trails that go through there, that's fine, light pruning. He said the biggest no-no would be to put any waste on that land.
Yeah, well.
Well, yeah.
He said it's happened before,
But
so.
yeah,
Really?
but
Can't put the sludge there.
yeah, yeah.
No sludge.
Yeah.
Sludge.
But yeah, but I think he was mentioning also any
I did have.
any
that.
sort of landscaping, any digging,
Yeah.
leave the trees alone, don't do
For the most
anything.
part, yeah, light
Ju-
maintenance is
Just do
okay.
maintain, we got 2 trails, I think there's a bike trail as well through there.
Yeah, I believe I asked if we spread some gravel.
He was
create a
fine with
couple more
that,
Parking
just-
spaces, he
yeah.
was okay with that,
Just don't put a shovel in the land
or any waste.
or any waste,
Needle or-
right.
yeah, anything that could be perceived
Yeah.
as waste.
Because I think he's anticipating what's first thing we're gonna end up having to do is a more extensive. What we were calling, what was it, phase 1A,
Yeah,
the test pits, we'd have to, that's the next step in
For
this.
the actual phase 2 that we were. voting
Probably,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Start the clock.
everything's just gonna say as is, we'll put the, I think it's just a matter of putting the signs up to let people know. And the parking, we've talked about all that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, moving on, town manager search committee update. I talked to one of the members today and they've not met yet. I think they're going through resumes or they like to see more resumes.
yeah, my plan was to send them what we have at the end of the week. Because we received a few more over the weekend, so.
It's open to the 22nd, right?
Yeah. And they asked that I rank them more or less.
Okay.
By number in terms of.
Right, not a name,
My
a description,
thoughts.
just numbers, right?
Exactly, off of their resumes. So I'm gonna compile that Thursday or Friday and give them what we have today. And right now I've accumulated almost 20
Oh,
Okay.
good, right,
resumes and
Good.
some with cover letters, some without.
okay.
We did ask for a cover letter, so that's kind of a sticking point for me, but
No, well, it should be. It
Yeah.
should, it kind of should be.
I'll
I mean,
send
you
along
wanna-
everything
yeah,
as
Not a
they
good
request.
start. All right, so they're just chugging away then and we continue to wait for
continue
their,
to receive applications
applications.
and resumes and
yeah, another 2 weeks, right? So.
Yeah.
All right, any questions of, on this issue? No? All right, wastewater treatment facility update. So there were a number of things that happened since our last meeting. The strategic planning committee of town residents that the select board created has met again. I think this was the second meeting,
correct.
right? And they were provided, I think you and Dylan met with them and provided them latest information that we have. And the idea is that that they will be available to answer questions from anybody in town about what's going on once we figure out what's going on. Yes, Dan.
Were they provided the recent letter we got from New Hampshire Department of Environmental
They were not,
Services?
only because I don't look at them as having to do with our current operations. This is more so just the information surrounding the actual cost of the facility and extent of the facility. But if the board wants.
That letter,
I'm
I
not opposed to
think,
that.
is critical and
You're
important.
talking about the one in our
Yeah,
packet? Yeah, well,
I think it provides a
right,
very good sense of
yeah,
the real
with
situation
regard to,
with the entire
Staffing,
situation,
right.
staffing. It's a 47-year plant that we're trying to keep maintained and
The
so
staffing
forth.
is a very valid point in there. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
yeah, no, I mean,
That was
Yeah,
our
my takeaway on that as well.
approach was to give them anything we think would be useful
I thought
for
that
their
would be
understanding. All right,
a very useful document
To
for
be
them to
fair,
have.
Well, to be fair, that had been that portion actually, staffing has been a component of our discussion in each of the 2 meetings we've had.
right.
So
Okay.
I can, at our next meeting, Dan, I can certainly present that to them for them to further understand the magnitude. That, to be honest, we probably, in the 2 meetings that we've had, probably spent an hour total talking about just the
Staffing.
staffing and the challenging
Right.
aspects of it.
current and future.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that, that form.
What
Okay.
it does is
Yeah.
it shows that this is actually not being driven just by us.
Correct.
That this is being driven by the outside agencies who are recognizing that these are critical issues that we're gonna have to solve moving forward. And I think since they're helping us with the communications aspects of this, I think that this is an important document that they should have sooner than later,
Fair enough.
to
That's
be
a good
honest
point.
with you.
I'll make sure I note that.
Sure.
Um,
Do you have a collective email address for them?
Yes.
Yeah, you just attach it and go. Sure. Punch it out to them. Okay.
Did you want just a quick summary of how the discussion
Yes, please.
went? So you're right, Rich, that was the second time that we've been able to get in front of this group. Not entirely collectively, there's always been a scheduling snafu to one
Well,
extent.
there, I think five
There are 5.
people and
Yeah.
sometimes trying to get 5 in the same room at the same time for a couple hours is
Tricky.
tricky.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
Dylan and I have a follow-up with the one member who wasn't able to attend, Steve Larkin, on, was it Wednesday, next Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday, to loop him in. And the main premise of meeting with them for the second time was now that the project's cost increase is kind of, been out in town a little bit, we wanted to hear from them, what they're hearing relative to that. And I thought it was a very productive meeting. I think, some of the things that I learned that, necessarily wasn't on my radar was that there was a lot of interest in, questioning or whether or not the town has leveraged all of their options from applying like political pressure. One member said, I could reach out to, some politician and maybe, get a path forward down that road. And to which Dylan and I didn't, at no point in time, have we ever sat down and said, no, that's not an avenue. And we wanted to stress that to this group. That's always been a possibility.
That's always part of the plan. It's more than a possibility. We're
Exactly.
gonna be pushing on every door that we can to get this funding found.
For sure.
I mean,
Right.
yeah,
So we didn't want that, rumor or concept to spread that we were resistant against any type of
no,
potential
absolutely
political
not,
options
yeah.
that.
No, it was
Yeah.
all, we discussed that early on
Yeah.
and we do have, a environmental attorney well-versed in these issues who's advising us on tactics we could use
Yeah,
and paths we can go down.
Right.
He has advised that we don't go down the political pressure route, certainly not at this time. With EPA, I mean, the EPA TSS limit in the permit is what's driving a good chunk of the cost, right? Something like 30%. It's not good time because we are looking to get an AOC from the EPA for the current violations that we have of our permit. So
Right.
we're sequencing things and it's not off the table.
Right.
But that's a pretty tough step to
Yeah.
take.
Well, were you saying political pressure to push back on the permit or political pressure to find funding? Those
I
are two
heard-
very different.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard both,
Okay.
both directions.
Right,
Yeah.
and we can talk to funding too.
In the
Yeah,
funding aspect,
funding.
we have reached out. We
Yeah.
reached out to Custer's office when she was in office. We reached out to Shaheen.
We had gone
Yeah.
down that
We-
path
It was more or
and
less radio silence.
Well,
Right.
They
we're
just
just
said,
gonna,
"Thank you."
we're just gonna keep getting more persistent. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we've been waiting, right, for the 30%.
well, I mean, that's the point we were coming to here. I think you
Right.
had the meeting on the 3rd with BMV and
Yes.
maybe we can just roll right into that
Right.
now. I mean, there is a key date coming up that's gonna drive a lot of how we proceed here.
So, the meeting that we had, on last Friday with Black and Beach, was to cover a number of different topics. A lot of them were, unresolved things since Mark's passing that we don't want to necessarily leave open and have a new town manager come in and have it be unresolved for them to have to deal with.
Identifying a project manager.
Project manager was the
Yeah.
big one,
That was
Yes.
one of them.
Value engineering.
right?
So, yep, we had project management, value engineering,
Right,
grants management and
Right.
Assessment of grants.
To see if Black and Veatch can help us in any grant
Yeah.
avenue.
Yep, in the meantime, I received correspondence from EPA. Already contacting us about renewing our NIPD's permit with them. So that was a topic of discussion with them because I think it's total of 500 pages, the report, then it's separate reports that need to be filled out, and the town has never had to do that, because it's always been just a reissuance of our permit. So since this is a new permit, I don't even have a template or anything like that I can refer back to. The last thing I want to do is submit an incomplete permit, and have issues on that end. So that was one of the things we looked for guidance from them on. We talked about
Subsurface investigation.
subsurface at the base lodge.
that's still hanging.
He had said that he found a contractor, that more or less told him that they could do it, but nothing was in writing yet. And I told him that I need to know that as soon as possible to be able to communicate with the base lodge, or with the resort rather.
That's been the delay, is finding somebody to actually come up and do the borings.
Mhm.
And right now, as we've discussed ad nauseum, the amount of infrastructure work is what's driving all this boring work. You can't do anything in the ground without knowing what's beneath it. right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so hard to find anybody right now, especially in New Hampshire, because it's very limited. I mean, he's contacting companies out in Connecticut as well. And it's just, they're not willing to come up here because all their work is pretty close to where they're already based out of. There was, I think there was one more.
Status of the 30% BOD.
Yes, I think that hasn't moved. So late November, early December is what they had told us.
Mhm.
And
Wasn't
that
it
hasn't-
mid-November? I'm watching for any slippage here.
Well, because that is gonna drive when we have our public hearing.
Yes.
Mid-November is when I think we're anticipating receiving it.
Right.
Getting it to DES is gonna be pre-Thanksgiving. That's what the existing
Right,
timeline.
and then we have to wait for them. But once we get it, we can, with you and Black and Veatch, understand it enough. What we're waiting for would be DES to approve that, right?
Yeah, they have to give us comments.
Right,
back, Any comments that they may have back, and then,
but we'll have enough we don't have to wait for them to come back to us necessarily
no, the cost is the cost.
to talk to the town and, the plans, the type of plant we're almost certainly gonna be looking at, et cetera, et cetera. We could have that discussion.
Correct.
And our plan always was to have it sometime in the fall. It slipped. We were hoping
Yeah.
earlier, but it slipped because we need that report, engineer report from the town engineers to be able to talk about it at this meeting.
Right.
That is a critical document.
Yes.
That is the path forward potentially,
That is
right?
the only-
We
that
picked the
is-
plan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty much,
That's the way to
everything,
bring this project to the next phase.
right?
Right, well, and that's when we can start, I believe, talking to our representatives and saying,
Well,
look, here's
that's
the
when-
reality.
Right, with the money
Paper.
and,
That coupled with the rate modeling.
Yeah.
that
right,
PFM's working.
and, you know, to what extent we may want to play any cards that, with EPA or with, well, probably just EPA, maybe
Yeah.
not so much DES, about the permit itself with regard to TSS, the TSS limit of 1, that's an issue here, yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Dylan.
I don't wanna skip the next item.
No, go ahead.
It kind of makes sense to kind of rope this in, because
Sure.
we're talking about funding, but.
Right, yeah, go ahead.
Item 4 is the CWSRF funding
Mhm.
update, and Steve actually received this news prior to me, but we did have a meeting with DES talking about the eligibility of funding through the CW Clean Water State
Right.
Revolving Fund for this project.
Yeah,
Yes.
And it was.
there ain't any,
There isn't, we can't give you
Right.
anything more than the 42 million that we've already obligated to you.
right,
So,
Well, the amount for the 42 million, so the
Right,
30%
so
of the 42
of,
million.
forgiveness and,
we can
grants.
finance the 42 million through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, anything in excess of that, they can't help
Right.
us.
as far as the overall financing, but
right.
within that is
State aid
loan
grant,
forgiveness
loan forgiveness.
and grants,
Yeah,
which would push it down
I don't
10,
even know what the state aid grant is right now.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
gonna be dependent upon when we take the money from them and what the state.
That's
aid
right.
grant portion
that's
is at
right,
that time.
but it's not the whole, right, but it'll be some portion, but
At one point in time, it was 15%.
it's not 15, but yeah,
And state and loan forgiveness was 20, so.
right, I was gonna say
35.
30,
Yeah.
30 is what stuck in my
Yeah.
mind, I
Mine
remember the
too.
last discussion
Yeah.
with Mark, it was something around 30 of that. State aid and loan forgiveness.
Yeah,
sort of
and the
thing,
way that
yeah.
it appears from, even from DES, their
Right.
explanation to us was, we don't know if there is gonna be any state aid grant available.
Right,
Because most of that had been cut out, you know, and not to change the subject at all, but
Mhm.
they had it more or less explained to us the issues that they have with staffing. They have a hiring freeze existing at the state level. So the more or less, they can't even not only bring in competent people, their problem is that if they post a job and someone wants to move from their position, they can't refuse them. So now they're filling up a department with people that don't, you know, that they're not even adequate in that position, and they can't tell them no, because it's a lateral move. So they have a whole mess of issues going on at the state
Right.
level. But again, just to refer back to something Steve said, everything is ultra backed up.
Right,
On the design review end as well, because of all this work that's going on. John Muris, who is assigned to our project, he's the design review engineer from DES. Jokingly, I think you were on that meeting.
Yeah, yeah,
Talking about how we've been
yeah.
reviewing our plan over Thanksgiving break.
right,
But aside from that, I think that's the only funding update, Steve, unless you had anything else.
no, well, that, beyond 42, we're basically on our own, we
Yeah.
talked about, if they can give us any help with WIFIA, and the answer to that was, no, you have to work with EPA directly on that, and there's some aspects of that program that we need to tie down with them,
Even the SWIFIA.
or the state version,
That was a
which
little
is
discouraging.
that was a
because-
no there,
They had
right,
no interest in even pursuing it.
Well,
Right.
they provided us, as part of the calendar invite to the meeting that we had, a WIFIA handbook, which Dylan and I reviewed a little bit in advance, and an extension to WIFIA is SWIFIA, which is administered typically by the
but
state.
they don't, yeah,
And when we asked about that program, they said that they've never administered that before with any towns in New Hampshire, and they wouldn't start for just one project.
so
well,
the
there'll
state
be
doesn't
lots of
do it,
people looking for funds, so, I
right,
mean,
So they said if we were to
Right.
pursue that, it would be
Right.
on us to administer and go through.
We'll
the
go
application.
through EPA. Now, we have engaged a financial firm. Do you want to talk about that a little bit to help us with the funding, but in other aspects of it well?
So I called PFM, our account rep on Friday. I kind of gave him a update on where we stand with the state since these new developments have arose. And he said that given this, he's gonna escalate their team's efforts in providing us the rate modeling. And I just got an email a half an hour ago from one of the analysts who's asking for a little more information, but I'm hoping they'll be able to pull something together for us within the next 2 to 4 weeks. And I think we would be smart to leverage them in an effort to help us go through the application process of any other types of funding options that we have, because they do. He did mention to us early on that he has experience working through WIFIA with the city of Manchester on some of their projects. So
Okay.
somebody who's familiar with it would be helpful.
All right, so we're moving forward as best we can on those fronts. Now, we've also had a meeting with EPA. And I referred to it earlier, it was to request an administrative consent order to deal with the fact that we're currently violating our permit for ammonia, if I remember correctly,
We're in violation.
in
of
certain
our-
periods.
Yeah, so more or less, they gave us a compliance schedule.
Right.
With our issuance of our NIFTY's permit. back in
Right, and we're not
2021.
meeting that schedule. Right,
And it's because of the delays in engineering, which pushed back construction.
right. And there's no way this plant can
Yeah, built
comply.
in that time. That's correct.
Right.
Right.
With that being said, I did receive, Steve and I received an email from our attorney talking about their, that he had received correspondence from EPA, that they're willing to give us roughly what we're asking for, but they're looking to see if Black and Beach can shave off at least 6 to 9 months of their project schedule.
To complete construction from November 2030 to April 2030.
Yeah.
And to let him know if that's feasible.
So taking away a construction season.
Yes.
Basically, which is problematic.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if we were in Florida, maybe not,
Yeah.
but
Right,
So that is something I'm been awaiting Mario Francucci's response on that, because he's gonna be the one that can really speak to that.
right,
Much better.
right.
He's gonna
Yeah.
know much more about that phase of it than I am. I don't know if that's doable. And again, my understanding of it is that it has to do with, they want us to be able to be in compliance as of 2030 with that new permit. And that's how they're looking at is April 1 would be the effective date of that permit. If they moved it back, and that therefore wouldn't be moving it back 6 years, is that, we asked for 5,
Mhm.
right? And I think technically it would be 6 years that, from.
Right, from there, how they calculate this, and the permits are 5.
The only thing I found encouraging about that is we were led going into that meeting by council that the theme of EPA right now is doing 18-month extensions. So.
that's better.
Well,
Yeah.
It's
Better
not
than
great,
18
but-
months.
Well, we need the AOC.
Yeah, I just thought, what if we were to extend our construction period during the day? So we start earlier, we finish later.
I'm hoping
So
that-
normally,
Yeah, no, that's the sort of thing we'll have
so
to
rather
look at.
than 8-hour day or a single shift, if you will, you run double shifts so that you get a
Let's see what Mario has to
longer
say.
longer
Yeah.
time periods. for
It
construction.
doesn't seem to be something that can't be resolved in some which way.
And I'm sure a contractor, Dan's gonna look at that from that perspective.
Say
as well,
exactly
try to
that.
Minimize their time here.
Anyway,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so they may be able to do.
But
do
we as
that.
a town would
Right.
potentially need to approve that so that they would be, allowed to make noise a little bit later in the day and so forth.
Yeah, well, it'll all be here, so hopefully it won't be too disruptive anyway, when the time comes.
Right.
So, I keep on saying the AOC is important. It's important because they can fine us.
Yeah.
And the fines are hefty,
And
cause,
it's retroactive, Rich, just to add that in.
oh, nice, yeah,
It's not necessarily like you're getting fined today. No, it's fines back to the date of non-compliance.
right.
So,
And an AOC will be would help protect the town from other litigation.
Right.
So, that's important and that's really good news that they're willing to move in that direction and to give us that length of time. That's an important piece of this for us,
Mhm.
Financially.
And the expedience of the response. I mean, I don't think we were expecting any type of response, but Jim said 3 to 6 months.
Oh, okay,
And so,
It was the week,
that's
it
good,
yeah,
was a week.
that's good,
So they're taking it seriously,
Right.
that's good.
good.
Well, I mean, we've always, I do put a lot of stock in the fact that we've tried very hard to do what we're supposed to do. And
Right.
we're not one of those towns that are refusing to do this or do
kicking the
that.
can.
Yeah,
And kicking the can down the road and excusing this or that. Our response has been, yes, okay, how can we do that? And these are the sorts of things we need from you to help us do that,
Yeah.
because we're a small town. I think is the point there. You mentioned this group. Was there anything other observations that they've been hearing? It's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this group of people. You mentioned, perhaps pulling the political lever or two with regard to funding.
Yeah.
And, the permit limits. Was there anything else in particular that they?
I heard, has the town considered constructing septic systems on all private and public, private and commercial property? I heard,
Believe it or not, we did discuss that and that's not a thing.
yeah,
I have written almost everything written down.
You have it?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, just,
If you'd like.
oh, just whichever ones you think are,
Yeah, that's just possible alternatives. So you remember, we talked about groundwater discharge as an option.
right, that's right. We've been down that path
Yeah.
several times, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In that, the issues with that is you still have to build a facility that can meet our discharge limits for the river in case we have a problem with our groundwater discharge. So you're still spending the money to build the same facility, but now you're adding in having to build a site that can receive the groundwater discharge.
Right.
So it's, it's additional money. They asked about the fines, how much do the fines, are the fines daily? They didn't realize it was a daily of $35,000 a day. So once they understood that, that changes the temperature a little bit and they start to
Right.
Yeah, so you mentioned retroactive. So when would that be retroactive?
roughly a year and a half.
Okay,
So substantial.
so that would be what, in million plus, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. As Steve pointed out, they asked about septic systems. They asked, why can't EPA, just again, these are questions that I'm glad they're asking because townspeople certainly will ask.
Yeah.
Why won't EPA change their permit, change our permit? Why won't they change permits in general? We told them, walked them through the anti-backslide clause that they have, that they can not issue something more lenient than a previous issuance within their permits. We've had the TSS limit since 1972. We've had our permit reissued every 5 years roughly since then. That's not gonna change, and if they did, they'd have to go all the way back to the Clean Water Act and change permits for the entire nation. As a result of them doing that for us. So I can't see, as well as our attorney.
Yeah, he was very strong on that point.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of the items, Dylan, if I could jump in,
absolutely.
that, I didn't think about is, I think it was asked, when you talk about TSS limits, ammonia limits, can we get a visual? Like, what does that look like? What's the impact of that? What is the consequence of a 1 TSS limit versus a 30 TSS limit coming out of that plant and going into the Mad River? What's it impacting downstream?
Or can you have it like in a clear glass jar?
That
like
was
what
even-
30
yeah.
Well, I mean,
look
yeah,
like?
I mean, that was an issue I brought up as well about if not necessarily something in a jar, but a presentation that would show that whether it's 1 or 10
Mhm.
TSS, it isn't gonna make a darn bit of difference to everything that between here and the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
Yeah, especially based on the loadings that we discharge.
Right.
Our flow is peanuts.
Right.
Compared to what's coming down the river on a daily basis.
Right.
So.
Anyway, yeah,
That's, it's a good point, Steve. They talked about, tax information. They want to know where we're at with that information from PFM. They wanted information, which I was able to provide them on water and sewer rates, comparing us to other towns. Tax rates, we didn't have that handy, but we were willing to share that with them.
sure. So,
Because I think, everyone on that group is very well very well educated as well as sharp. And I think they just, a lot of them didn't recognize where our rates are at comparatively to communities surrounding us. I listed off a while back, I was able to dig back to my old notebook, I don't have it with me today, I'd read off to them. We had talked about this when we were doing the rate restructure.
Yeah.
You know, in communities that are surrounding us, our quarterly bills are, or, sorry, what we bill annually is equivalent to some of these communities quarterly.
Right,
The water and sewer rate.
Water and
right. No,
utility
we've
bill.
always been very, very low.
But we spoke about both rates, right? We spoke about tax rate when we spoke about the utility
Water,
rates.
Right,
And they,
Right.
but
Both
they
were
did ask about
eye-opening.
a comparison of the tax rates of surrounding, you know, other communities.
Yeah.
Compared to us, we didn't have exact, but we were able to tell them like Campton, Thornton, Plymouth, and give them an example, you know, a rough example.
And an idea of the services those communities.
For that-
receive
for that-
versus what-
for that
we-
tax
Right.
rate. We do have that in various
Yeah.
places.
Oh, yeah.
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 They asked
One of my pieces of
they asked
paper.
an explanation of how we were able to narrow down, why we picked the type of technology we did, and I, at that point, I had said to them, I said, we can do that, I said, however, we have videos on the town's YouTube page with Black and Beach
Mario,
and
yeah.
whiteboard meetings, where we talk about, they did a presentation in a very detailed explanation of why, you know, we should select this. And I reminded them that the option that we did pick, although it seems the cost is out of control, which is, it's super high, right? That was the cheapest option. And MVR was the cheapest option, the options they gave us that could meet our permit. So, and one of the things is that this project has been going on now for 5 years, 4 years roughly. So a
It's
lot of information
2019.
that was, we already hashed out, it's just kind of been forgotten, because it hasn't been, you know, we haven't looked at it. So there's a lot, again, you know.
They're new to the process. I mean, right.
Well, yeah, but all I mean is, Rich, you know, like us looking at these different options and us talking
Mhm.
about why we can do things, why we can't do things. This was stuff that was ruled out with our previous consultant and then ruled out again with our existing consultant.
Right,
But even that was over a year ago with
Right.
Wyndham Beach. So it just, you know, nowadays there's so much information surrounding us on a daily basis. How do you retain
right.
all of that? So that was really the majority of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the other piece you touched upon was staffing.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the members said to Dylan, well, what can we do to make sure we can retain you? To which Dylan responded that that's already been taken care of, so.
Good.
Was,
Good.
that was encouraging.
The one other thing, I think it comes under, we've talked about it, but is a redesign of the website that we created. So there's more, a place for people to go
You're right.
on the wastewater treatment
We
facility.
did
if
talk about
they have
that
any
as well.
questions.
Steve
Okay.
gave them a brief overview of what Louis Carno had put together for us.
Right, right.
Again, that's a draft. It's nothing
Yeah.
finalized. They seem to like it. Andy Knight had mentioned how he would be more than willing to help us since that's one of his strong suits. So, you know,
Good.
to take him up on that for sure. But again, all in all, it was very informative, very I think we got a lot out
Engaging.
of that conversation.
Yeah. for
Good.
sure.
Good. All right, so I think we covered everything we wanted to talk about. Does anybody else have anything on the wastewater treatment facility updated at this point? Okay. Thank you very much, Dylan. So just a quick look at the drought and water restrictions update and fire restrictions. We're still at level 4. I think we have no intention of moving off of that at the moment, right? We're still at level 4. We got a ways to go. We need a lot more rain.
We received 1 3/4 yesterday. To this midday this today.
Good.
Good start.
It's nice. A little bit more than a drop in the bucket, but it's a big bucket.
Yeah.
We got a ways to go. So I guess would you continue with it and I haven't heard of any violations. I haven't seen any myself. Maybe some
We've
minor
had a few residential and
Right.
some unattended campfires
on the fire side, right?
on the fire
Right,
side.
there's,
We've been handling them more education wise. Even though the signs are up on the highway saying you can't burn.
Yeah,
And we put
And it's-
signage and social media.
and extreme
everywhere.
wastewater, White
Yeah.
Mountains.
US Forest Service has pre-planned two firefighting crews from out west over here. And we'll continue. We had some patrol money left over, so through the month, we're gonna continue to do, basically, we've been patrolling campgrounds and Triple I Road and keeping an eye out for those, any of those unattended fires or fires, period. Just keeping an eye out for that and just taking a little more proactive approach.
So
So,
still a solid fuel fire ban, outdoor fire ban, and level 4 water restrictions.
yes.
That's the update for today, and check back in 2 weeks.
We had one inquiry, Dylan. Did you need, was that noteworthy at all? The one that came in?
Okay. Shall we move on to department head updates? Wendy, could you take it? I just gotta make-
Absolutely.
Step out for a phone call.
Sure thing. Why don't we, should we skip to the director reports? Cause I know everyone's hanging out here, but it might be nice. I mean, Brooke, it's great to have you here, and Dave, but maybe you have other things you wanna do? We'll shuffle this around. That's all right?
That's fine.
Brooke's been sitting here most of very patiently.
She has been. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just taking it all in. Well, couple of updates, the Mission Turf Company that I reached out to regarding Packard Field
Yeah.
damage from the Theater Under the Stars is gonna come out this week to take a look and then sort of advise me on what can be done this fall leading into winter, if anything. So that was great that he was able to come out right away. I'll let you know, keep you updated on that. I haven't been able to get with Megan yet on the trail side, the first network of trails. So again, we'll have to update you at another time of that. The Freiburg Fair trip was a success. We had 12 people. It was a great turnout and kind of a new group than we usually have. Fall Foliage Foot Race is coming up this Sunday. We have public safety in place for helping us manage the road as usual. And we have just about the regular number of participants, pre-registered, volunteer in place, staff in place. So the weather looks like it's gonna be a little bit chillier than what we're hoping, but no rain in the forecast at this point. So that's looking good. So last weekend of our boat rentals, we'll be having our last day on Monday, so that will finish up. And we will be submitting for our final reimbursement from WVRA following that. Pet waste dispensers, Irit updated you on that. She's been doing that for, quite a long time, and I think it's appropriate for us to take that over. And then our Halloween activities are happening on Saturday, October 25th this year, a little bit earlier. We'll start with our activities at the rec department, and then they will go on to the trick or treating. That portion, Dave, if you haven't heard, is happening from 5 until 6:30. The trick or treating along the same timing for the trunk or treat as well this year. So it's gonna
Okay.
be simultaneous. In the past,
You
we've
said
done
the
like
26th.
the 25th, so
25th.
Saturday, the 25th. So the trick or treating will officially begin from at 5 o'clock and until 6:30. And that's what we tell the, residents and lodges that are hosting the trick or treaters so that they know when the start and finish time is. And that's what we will report to WMUR. That's all I have.
Great. All right, thank you. Do you have any questions, Dan?
No.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you. Dylan, did you have anything more to add than what? Okay, thank goodness. Yeah. Dave, I know you've been working hard and on the ordinances and got your report. Was there anything additional to add?
No, nothing additional. I'll be on vacation starting the end of next week. For the week I'll be up north, but other than that, we're just looking forward to anticipating the delivery of our ambulance. Like I mentioned, City of Laconia was interested in our old one,
Mhm.
our current one. So hopefully, they actually came up, brought a mechanic, and one of their deputies came up yesterday to take a look at it. So they're just working out with the powers that be for funding. So we'll see. We think we've made them a fair price of about 65K, which is about looking on our estimates, the same year for the same vehicle with 100,000 was going for about 35.
Mm.
And we've got about 35 on it right now, so we figure about 65 is probably a pretty fair price for it. So we'll just wait. We'll wait and see. Hopefully we can get that done. There has to be some lag time because they have to come in and install radios and or power cot, and
Sure.
we have to get it licensed and all the equipment, everything transferred over. So there's some lag time there, but we'd like to. There should be enough time to hopefully, if they're interested, get it done before the end of the year.
Great. Great.
So other than that, if there's any other questions. we'll be
No,
happy.
I read the report.
Mhm.
Cool. Alrighty, Steve.
Yep, so admin services, I sent you the report in the packet that I
Mhm.
put together, just a couple of small updates on that. I wanted to highlight. It's our goal to get our third quarter water and sewer bills in the mail next week on the 16th. That's my kind of print date in mind that I have, or I'm sorry, mail date. I'm gonna try to print this Friday. And then a week later, on 10/23, to have the second round of tax bills in the mail. As well. Everything's tracking to hit those dates as I planned months ago.
Great.
So I don't see any complications there. Kristen actually brought up a pretty cool idea, something that we haven't done in the past, and I just wanted to float the idea out to the board. And that's every year we have seemed to kind of struggle to get that photo that you see on the cover of our town
Mhm.
report together, kind of last minute. That's the last minute shuffle piece. And Kristen thought, why don't we open that up to the town as kind of like a contest, if you will. We could put it out on our website to see if we could
Yeah.
get some nice ideas in early in
An extra
advance.
card, you never know if it come in handy.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great idea.
Okay with that?
People
Yeah,
get
I'm
Sure.
okay with that.
photo credit right on the front cover of our annual report.
Yeah.
Good boy.
And I said we'll give them a little gift card, but I didn't say how much or what.
Yeah, perfect.
Steve, do you have an update on the letters we were talking about sending out for the folks who are behind on their water and sewer bills?
Yeah, Kristen.
I didn't
Oh,
look for
okay.
that.
The
in the
delinquency
report yet.
notices,
Oh, yeah, so department head.
you have
report.
those, you have a format created.
So
just
I
circle
was
back
trying
to
to print it out
Okay.
today. I need to talk to Avatar because I need to change something because we're not aligned with the tax leaning that we do on our real tax bill. And it has, the dates have to be the same as the water and sewer, or they have to be somewhat same. So I was trying to print it, but it wouldn't let me because I didn't have the proper date in there. So I was hoping to talk to somebody today, but I didn't get a chance. But I'm gonna print you out one. I probably can forward it to you by email. What the delinquency letter would look like for
Okay.
like water and sewer. And I know we talked about it being under a certain amount or maybe 2 or 3 periods of time before we send it out.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
quarters,
Yeah,
I think it was.
2 quarters, right?
Yes.
So when I do it, I'll just email it to you so you can see what it would look like and then we can decide when you wanna send them. They can be sent at any time.
Okay, thank you.
So we were able to get Terry Waite in to swear me in as tax collector.
Good.
And coincidingly have Kristen continue the deputy tax collector role.
Excellent.
I think the next step there would be to talk about scheduling a special town meeting. If that is something the board wanted to do and
Mhm.
appoint someone else within the town as tax collector outside of the
Yeah.
town meeting role, town manager role, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the timing requirements.
Yep.
As to the public notice and a public hearing, and then the special town meeting.
Right,
So we'll need to get all that info and schedule it sometime this fall.
we'll start working on it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I had noted down after I sent you your report, is something Rich and I just discussed briefly, is Dave brought up possibly a good resource for us, maybe next year, that's in researching business licenses for artificial intelligence to see what's out there to support businesses and maybe do some comparison between products before we pull the trigger on anything. But I think that technology is at a point now where I think we should seriously consider leveraging something at a professional kind of a capacity and understanding
so.
what
Yeah.
financing would have to be appropriate. I don't think it's significant.
I don't think it is, no.
But sub $1,000 kind of a
Mhm.
thing, but to do it, I think a little more intentional,
Mhm.
meaning that we do wrap that business license into whatever AI technology the town could be pursuing would be a
Mhm.
smart thing to look at.
Yeah, great. Be very helpful in decision making,
Right.
I think.
And that kind of does tie into, one thing I did ask AI to do was take that work plan that we had created for
Right.
the select board and the
Right.
town manager. And create more, take the content that's there, but make it into more of a strategic planning format,
Hmm.
which is what I provided you in your packet
Mhm.
today. I apologize. My intention was to have an action plan developed that's wrapped around the strategic planning document so that we can look at an action plan a little more
Rigorously.
yeah, that ties in these items, see exactly where we're at in the progress, but I'm hoping to have that prepared for your next meeting on the 22nd. What I've highlighted in that work plan are just some items that I've either edited or in red, I've suggest that, we can remove them as we've already completed a few of these items here in its entirety. But if you would give me a couple of weeks just to get this maybe into an Excel format action plan that we can go.
Yeah. I think the idea was to have something ready to go for a new town manager. In
Yep.
terms of what it looked like for this year and what's left to do, and they can put together their work plan for 26.
Absolutely. Any questions?
No.
No.
No, you
We
say,
just hadn't done Dave yet.
okay. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think that was
Okay.
good.
Good. All right.
Unless there was anything else that you guys had.
Okay.
Got all the departments?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Financial report? I think we just talked about the work plan too, right?
We did.
So. Financial report? Anything in particular? Want to have any questions? Steve, is there anything you'd like to highlight?
No, nothing at this time. Everything's tracking as it should be this time of year. Katie didn't pull out anything specific to any ups or downs that she noticed while generating this report, as she did best for our last meeting, so. Unless you folks see anything in there that jumps out at you, I think we're in good shape for the time of year that we're in.
The
questions?
the FEMA jump,
Yeah,
that was it.
in revenues,
Yeah,
In revenues? Oh, that's expenses, okay.
because we're at 336 versus the 95.
336.
Oh, sorry, it's item 3311.
331. 336.
It says 336,000,
Yeah, let me take a look at that, Wendy, in more detail here.
but it
I know
balanced.
I know that we received a small distribution in the $13,600 or $13,000 range over the past couple of weeks, but
Yeah, because we had been hovering at that 95,000.
for a while.
Yeah,
I will get information on that for you.
thank you.
Anything else?
What line
Or
number
Dan?
was that?
That is 3311-001 FEMA revenue. From a revenue side, though, you do something else that
Oh.
you should be aware of. We did receive a disbursement from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund that satisfied our last 3 invoices that we paid to Black and Beach. So that was $650 some odd thousand that was now that we can now put back into our high yield interest bearing account with Meredith Village and
So does that show up on here or that's all tied into that one?
capital account.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're current there for our FEMA for our Clean Water State Revolving Fund disbursements as of right now. Black and Beach hasn't sent us anything this month.
And was that a new grant, the 3319-001, the cybersecurity? The 36.
CISA cybersecurity.
Yep, that is the DPS. I have to rename that title.
Okay.
That's the grant that we received to help the cameras,
Oh,
body
oh,
worn
oh.
cameras.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
Sorry.
title change.
That was
Okay.
36. I thought it was half that.
It is, that's the 16,
Okay.
3319002. Or 1897 is what we received.
3.
3319002.
No.
From
Okay, never
an
mind.
expenditure
Okay,
standpoint,
Oh, there it is.
we had $142,000 appropriated for municipal buildings related projects.
Right.
So the floor drain in the fire bay has been completed. Dana White did I think a fantastic job and being conscientious to the fact that we wanted to remain open through that project. So he pulled that out at cost of what we expected it to be.
We actually got a discount because we didn't have to do a full run all the way through. We were actually able to tie into a sewer line that we didn't know was right there.
Well, that's
So
great.
it's,
Sounds normal
saved us
for
a
Waterville
couple
Valley.
$1,000 actually off the whole total cost, so.
Nice.
We got the spill containment pad situated up at the
Mhm.
fuel pumps. That project was done at cost.
Good.
We received our new vehicle lift and installed it in our maintenance garage over there. That was done at what was anticipated. There was one other
And Bender,
oh
and
yeah,
Bender Road,
Oh.
that water service line that had froze multiple times last summer.
Right.
Dana White completed that work as well, the week prior to doing the drainage work here at Town Hall.
Good.
Excellent.
We're
So-
getting quotes for gutters in
Oh,
front of the
okay.
bays. Even just last winter, the runoff deteriorated the brand new paving right in front of the doors. Plus it creates an issue for us for ice buildup,
Yes.
especially when we get melt and refreeze,
Mhm.
melt and refreeze.
Yeah.
It's tough. We have a very small margin of error for that ladder truck to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I can believe
Literally,
it. Yeah.
and so it takes constant maintenance. So we had
windows.
exterior, what's his name? Yeah, instead of windows, we're gonna try to opt to throw a coat of paint just in the brown on the front. And try to put the commercial gutters on the front of the building. And across the back bay for this year. I think it will help our parking lot investment, but it's also gonna just help with just winter maintenance.
Hmm.
So we're waiting to hear, I'm still waiting to see what that number looks like.
Anything else on finances?
No, I'm good.
Good, all right. I think I covered everything in department head updates then, yes, so. Calendar review, our next regular select board meetings on the 22nd of October. It's also gonna be at 2 p.m.
Correct.
And we have a, go ahead.
The intention there, Rich,
Mhm.
refresh my memory, but I believe we were gonna look at ordinances in your neck of the woods, right, Dylan? In
Yeah.
wastewater, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have a special meeting scheduled for the 23rd. It's still listed at 12. I think we're trying to shift it to 11.
Yeah, I received feedback from both Tim and James, and they said 11's a little tight for them. They could make it work if they had to. Tim, since you're here, would 11:15 or 11:30 suit you better?
Anything later. is better.
Anything later? Would you be okay with that?
I'm good until about 12:15.
So 11:15?
Yeah, 11:15. I mean, it's just to re-engage and see where things stand.
All right, I'll resend the calendar invite for 11:15.
Yes. Okay, and the planning board, as I mentioned, has their regular meeting tomorrow here at 8 AM. Is that in it for, I think we're done for calendar? Board concerns and directives, ex officio, anything,
I missed
Wendy?
the last MSW meeting because I was out of town. Haven't seen those minutes yet. So nothing to report.
Okay, as far as planning board is concerned, as I mentioned, they're meeting tomorrow. I'll re-engage with them on, see who they want for their full member. Talk to them about representation in North Country Council. Their main concern, as always, this time of year, looking at the zoning changes, zoning amendments. So they have a pretty long agenda, almost all of it related to zoning.
The SE group asked to push their presentation out to November.
Okay, I saw that, right.
Hmm.
Right. Anybody have anything on the other category they'd like to bring up? I have a couple things I can get through
Yeah, just
quickly. Go ahead.
one comment. I did go through everything I had from Mark with respect to easements, and I do not have any other documents other than around the pond
From
and all of
pond?
that, and
Does that include the
the
easement
parking
for
lot for the,
Golden Eagle? That doesn't,
yeah,
You
I
have-
have that,
right?
but it's just those. I don't have any others.
Sorry, that reminded me. Yeah.
Seems to me there was,
There may be others. I
Yeah.
just don't have any
it
other.
wasn't given to you. I'm trying to think
Nothing
what
was
else.
provided. Mhm.
Okay, maybe that's,
Maybe we could do a quick review, Rich,
yeah,
you and I.
yeah. Let's make sure we get them all.
Yeah,
We get them all done. I mean, I assume that includes like the easement for the ice arena. You have that
Right,
one?
so I have the ice
That's around the
arena.
pond, of course.
That's what I'm. That,
The use of the pond itself, water.
Right.
Okay, we got all that. And Golden Eagle, you have those.
yes,
All right,
but
well, let's
those
double
were the
check.
only ones I have.
Okay, we'll double check on that.
Sorry, I did, just to circle back, I did chat with Tina at the Golden Eagle Lodge regarding the easements for, because back in the summer, I think it was
Mhm.
July, we suggested that perhaps they start with their attorney to see what they would like for clarifications. And I guess they're pushing back and would like the town to start and see what we would like for easements, because they felt like it's a town easement and we should present them with what we're thinking in terms of clarification for that easement.
So they're
So-
satisfied with the easement as is?
Well, I think they agree that it needs clarification, especially like in terms of the percentage of responsibility for the,
Well,
but they
okay,
would like the town to work to present them with a suggestion first. That's what.
all right,
their-
well, we
their
can do,
group
I
had
think we may,
asked.
have we done an analysis? Have we had town council look at that yet?
We have, I don't believe we have. We
So-
wanted to start with them and then.
Right, all right, well,
So we haven't done that yet.
let's
Yeah.
do that then. Let's-
Okay.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Moving ahead
Sure.
with town council, Steve, to review the agreement we have with, Golden Eagle Lodge with regard to paving responsibilities, anything else that we,
Shared, yeah.
the shared parking and,
Well, because the writing of the easement is just so vague in terms of
Right.
like the roadway and
right.
parking, and there's just,
Well, yeah, so it'll be a
Language and
review of what
percentage.
is there, but also a recommendation of how to make it more specific
Sure.
to what we would like to see. I think
yes.
the one, and we can talk to him if he'd like to schedule a meeting with us ahead of time, once he's looked at it. To see what we're thinking are the changes we'd like to make.
Yeah.
That'd be
The-
fine.
The issues there in part being the percentage
That's the
that
big
we're
one.
paying of the total if they're going to repave it,
Right.
for instance. But also the frequency. Because if they decided to repave every year, for instance, that
Right.
could get to be, which won't
Yeah,
be.
unlikely, but no, but exactly, we need specificity.
We need
we're looking for.
specificity with regard to
To
issues like that.
so.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
my only
So-
question, would you want me to start maybe running this through Liz, our land use?
I know
Consultant.
she'd also be a good,
Yeah,
Start with her and see
yeah,
her recommendation.
but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll end up having to go to town council anyway, because it'll be a legal document, but
Yeah.
see what she thinks would be helpful,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, I had a few things. I'll go through them quickly. I think our town transfer station hours are a bit confusing. 3 days, 3 different sets of hours. I don't recall how we got where we got, but you know, I was thinking something like 8 to 4, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Right? Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Now they're just 3 different numbers, so.
well, I think the thing is
Can
to
we
be able to
look at it?
catch people who are working versus.
Right.
you know,
Right.
That was the evolution, but
Yeah, it just seems, every time, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I can never remember which is which,
Mm.
whereas if you knew the town's transfer station is open Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8 to 4, and Sundays, 9 to 5, that's all you need
Mm.
to know. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, maybe we can talk about it with Megan, and we're gonna, with Megan next, on the 22nd. What, maybe it's a staffing thing too, like there's a 7:30 to 3 or something like that, I mean, it's just.
yeah, because some of that was to catch people who have to leave for work
Earlier,
early.
yeah.
And then, yeah.
Right, so we were trying to make a short, one
More
day, one way, one
availability,
day the other
yeah.
way, and a Sunday we're kind of locked into the people
Yeah.
leaving schedule. I think I sent you guys, an article from the NCC on a traffic calming study. Have we ever used them for that? Did you guys see, I sent it to you in an email, but there was basically an offer, if any town wants us to come in and do a traffic calming study, we're here to help.
We've been there, done that.
Yeah, no, I figured we have, but
CC?
I
Yeah,
don't,
knew
I,
we had, but-
it was so long ago, I don't remember.
Okay.
if it's free, I mean, let's see if they want to come in and do a study, we
I
can see
don't-
what they say.
Yeah. Up to you, I don't know what issue would they be looking at, I guess, is that we went through several
I know,
different
things. Right.
ideations of traffic calming that none of them worked.
Well, I think this would be more of just a study. It's not, we're gonna necessarily
Sure.
do anything, but see what they're thinking of these days for traffic calm. I'm sure most of it, if not all of it's gonna be the same in the past. We're gonna say, try that, try that, try
That'd
that.
be interesting.
But it'd be interesting to see just what
Mhm.
an outside entity.
Well, perhaps it's a fresh look with the new
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
geography of the road
Yeah,
being different, maybe.
There's no cost to the town.
that's what I read. That's what it sounded like, but we can check on that.
Yeah.
With NCC. We can give
Okay.
them a holler.
If there's no cost to the town, I'm okay with it. But I'm not sure what problem we're trying to solve.
Well, it's the speed.
Speed.
Well,
It's an
Dave's
enduring,
got speed under control.
it's an enduring and problem. Well, that's enforcement. We'd like to keep it from getting to enforcement.
I wonder as part of it too, if they could give us any recommendations on a variation of how we delineate the walking path and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
as
no, I
Dave
mean,
was-
let's,
Maybe there's something
yeah.
that could come out of it.
this is something they're there for, right? We're a
right.
member of the group, so.
Yep.
We can check on that. I did want to talk to Megan about the tree cutting cost. I didn't realize when she proposed the trees that it was a $5,500 cost, with one tree being $4,500.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was a contracted expense associated with that work.
Yeah,
either.
I thought in retrospect, I should have realized when I talked to her about it that obviously some of these trees, or a couple of them, that obviously town staff could not do it.
Right.
But it didn't occur to me at the time, so that's on me, but yeah, it seems like it's of a number that it should be a line item, no? I mean, how is it handled?
Yeah, so historically, the departments had two kind of maintenance lines. a summer maintenance and a winter maintenance line that would absorb any type of activities like this, tree cutting or culvert maintenance or um, any activities that happened in that department that was related to the summer, spring, summer.
Right.
Fall,
It
and then
was-
in winter, that's where you see all of the winter maintenance
Right.
expenses being absorbed. But I'm in the camp of, you know, if during this budget season, the board is interested in maybe breaking that bucket out a little bit into some more defined categories such as tools or landscaping or
Yeah.
whatever we deem
I
that,
think,
you know, not to the minutia of, you know, nuts and bolts, but you know,
No.
if we want to kind of chop it up a little bit, a lot of our other departments do that.
Yeah.
So I'd be all in favor of entertaining an idea around it. Tree work,
yeah,
even.
well, it just struck me that, we're gonna spend $4,500 to take down a tree that's still alive, although it may be dying. It's a lot of money
Sure.
for one tree. The $1,000 for the other trees, that sounds okay. I don't know, what do you guys think?
4,500 for a tree is enormous.
It's a big, it's a tall tree.
Which tree are we talking about?
Boulder Path Road across from the, just past, West Branch. There are two large trees.
Where they,
by the library.
by the library,
By the
those two
library.
large ones?
Yes. Yeah.
Do
We've
we
been
have a
down this
reason
path.
to pull those down?
Well, not one, well, originally it was to take down two and it was reduced to take down one. Apparently it's dying. And
Okay,
she,
I'm not sure. It looked like it was dying to me, but okay.
well, no, what I'm saying is for $4,500, I'm not okay with that.
Yes, I'm not okay with that
Right.
price at all. That's a lot
For
of money.
for one tree.
Are they gonna have to bring
mean,
a
it is-
crane
it
in?
is-
Yes, oh,
Well,
yeah,
It is a lot, but I have had high prices when I've asked about certain trees on
Yeah, yeah.
previous property that I had, and I'm not
Yeah.
completely surprised
right.
at the cost.
Yeah,
you know.
Anyway, costs like that, I think should be more specified in the budget
yeah.
for sure, but on this one project, if she wants to, she would like to go over it with you in more detail, but I think we're swallowing hard on $4,500 for a
Yeah.
tree, given all the other expenses that we
Yeah,
have to
I
deal with.
think as part of the budget process, to expect the department to go around and do an
Mm-hmm.
analysis of the town's landscaping needs for the next budget season isn't out of the question. I think that,
No, it should be standard.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then in that, during the
would
budget
have-
process, they can
right.
articulate that we have 5 large trees that are gonna have to be looked at next year, and here's the
Right.
expense, an estimated expense associated with what that'll cost.
Right,
I mean, I think that's a pretty decent
Normal.
expectation.
okay.
Yeah.
So, are we okay with the other $1,000 on the other trees? I think there were a total of 8 or 9.
I'd have to. really
They-
look, yeah.
They took 3 already, the town staff did 3
Okay.
already. I assume they did it.
Okay,
I don't know, but
I'm not sure.
it
either.
was fine. Yeah, those were completely dead, right?
I'd have to look at more. At
All right,
what work
if you,
has
if,
been done
if,
versus.
yeah, if you could, but I don't think we want to spend $4,500 on one,
No.
on one tree.
Yeah, I've asked her to just put that on hold
Okay.
any further.
I do want to follow up with, this idea what Chief had mentioned as well, a memorial park for Mark. I think we should put together a committee. It's been a long meeting. We don't have to talk about it now, but I'd like to get a few people together to start playing that, see if we can put some amendment for a little bit of money in front of town meeting next March.
I wanted to prepare a proposal,
Okay,
in a presentation, like a short
great.
proposal
Okay.
presentation. And use that as hopefully a recruitment tool for anyone who would like. to
Sounds
be
like a
part
great
of the
plan.
Committee.
Cool.
Sounds like a great plan.
With all the other stuff, I haven't had time.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. As long as you've got
So
it on your
It is
radar.
on my radar, and I do wanna, I just didn't know what would be the most appropriate venue to do that, whether it's at a select board meeting. Veterans Day,
I think at a select board meeting with the idea of what you're looking at, and we can talk about it and then get an idea of how many people would like, 3 people, 5 people to
yeah,
come up with some some idea of how much money we might need to just get the ball rolling with some engineering,
Yeah,
maybe next
yeah, I think so.
next March, something like
I've got
that?
some ideas. I still need to sit down with Megan and Dylan and Brooke on, I need to get some information and their
Mhm.
perspectives before I put the proposal together, but
Okay, no,
so
it's
I've got a
fine.
little legwork to do and I want to get a
Right.
proposal prepared for you, so hopefully prior to budget season.
If we have,
So
if you
prior
could,
to budget season,
we can
so
get
if
the
there is.
group together
Yes.
to do a little research and come up with whatever. That way we can get moving on it next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Chief. Have you had a chance, Bill Dower, did he get back from vacation?
Yeah, Dylan?
He's getting back tomorrow.
Okay, right. I think we still want, I think we agree we're gonna engage him earlier than we had in the past, right?
Yeah.
But since he'll be working with the engineering firm, a lot of which Mark did.
Yeah.
And I think we need Bill to step into that gap now and to take on the Boulder Path, in particular, the Boulder Path project and the Snows Mountain project.
And he's, like I mentioned to you, Rich, he's expressed interest to
Great,
continue supporting the town.
great. I mean, we already have a contract with him and all of that.
Yep.
He's on retainer, so.
Exactly.
Probably be good, however you guys want to do it, whether we want to, sit down with him and then bring it to the board, or just go right and talk to the engineers. You guys can brief them up on what's going on, because the engineers have some questions, right? I think they're still waiting for some answers.
Yeah, Bill's
Right.
been in the loop on majority of that, which is good.
Right.
HEB has more or less kept him in the loop. I think they just assumed that
He was gonna, right,
Yeah.
good,
Just
good,
because
good.
he was so integral in the.
Right.
In the previous projects that they designed for us. Yeah, Bill is certainly excited to have the opportunity to continue working.
Great. All right, yeah, as soon as you can, then make contact with him and let's make sure the engineers know what they're doing, what we want them to do, right? Especially on Boulder Path.
Let's hope we didn't buy any property in Florida during this trip.
Oh, no, that won't be allowed.
No.
All right, very quickly, Brooke, we decided there was no money in the budget for repairs for Packard, right? We're just gonna leave it the way it is now, given the time of year anyway. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was able to get somebody from Mission Turf to come out and look at it this week. And I will hear back from him in the next couple of days on if they can do anything.
By this time, yeah.
Like in the fall leading into winter. He'll let me know, but we pulled back on our, turf repair.
Right.
Seeding contract
Right.
this summer. So
Right.
there is a little bit of money left in that line. So we'll see what he comes back with.
Right. If not this fall, winter, then just get it, everything set up for,
Yeah, next year.
for early next year to get it seeded or whatever we want to do.
Mhm.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Can we do anything about that porta potty that's at the villas, that's right on Valley Road we're coming up with? Can't they put that on the other side of the building? It's right in, they've got people come for leaf peeping and not, they're late.
I got the storage box moved.
You did. And so never let a
I
good deed,
slid a
never.
porta potty
potty
in
in
behind
there.
it,
I'd rather have
so.
the storage box than a porta potty right on the main road.
I can certainly ask them, but good news is, we're scheduling for final certificates of occupancy for.
Hoorah.
Those 3 are under agreement and they have 3 left and that they're hoping to get that finished up by, the end of the year.
Great, great.
So-
Yeah.
So the light is at the end of the tunnel.
And it's not a train heading our way.
Yeah, I know.
All right, great. No, especially for this weekend, I mean, if
Mhm.
they can move it tomorrow or Friday, just to the other side of the building. It's our last big resort-like weekend
Mhm.
for the fall,
Mhm.
before things change, shift over to winter.
Stick season.
Yeah, stick season.
Mhm.
Let's make it, all those people in all those buses, I hope they're coming. Don't have to look at a porta potty when they're looking at Osceola. All right, I've said enough. All right, let's quickly move to correspondence. So Madison is putting up cell tower and they think we're gonna see it way over here. We may, I don't know.
I think when Dave and I looked at, did we look at it in your office where we figured if there was one peak in town and you were looking on a clear day due east, you might be able to see.
It
Something,
wasn't me, but.
No, I
yeah,
was looking at it with somebody
Yeah,
in my office. I was astonished the fact that we were getting this public, this abutters notice because of how far out there it is, like 120 miles away or.
That's
Well, driving distance.
well, driving distance, right, but line
as
of
the
sight.
crow flies, at least
It,
60.
it would be just at the east end of town, right?
yeah, yeah.
East, southeast,
Yeah,
end of town, somewhere in there.
It's
Yeah,
almost
'cause you
on
got
the border of
Albany,
Maine.
Albany,
It's gotta go by Albany,
Tamworth,
right, and then you get to them, but.
Madison, yeah.
Is there any action required on our part? I don't remember now. My mind's starting to get fried here.
Yeah, I would not recommend any action.
All right. It's just an abutters notice if we wanted to participate in the public hearing on the matter.
We could.
Okay, and I take it we don't plan to. You guys could-
You're not gonna drive over?
No, I'd like to, actually. It's been a while since I had a chance to get over to that. Okay, so we've had, I received, an email from, Ken Ackerley, he had some concerns about, the public, the planning board and, their recent, actions with regard to, the Adventure Center application, Adventure Zone, excuse me. I did not answer. I wanted to take this opportunity to say that he should address those to the planning board, but I do appreciate him bringing his concerns to the select board on the matter. And there was, I think, an email that we received from, Stan Pecos, concerns over the wastewater treatment facility. I think we talked through a lot of that when we discussed the wastewater treatment facility update. At this point, I have nothing further to add, but for the record, I wanted to note we got the email and we are addressing some of his concerns. Does anyone want to say anything further on that?
Well,
Go ahead.
you know, I think it's important to know that it is our desire through the process of working with this wastewater treatment committee that we've formed alongside our PR support to have a public hearing
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, no,
where,
that is the plan,
you know,
right?
we're hoping that we have good attendance and we have some strong questions and
And, right,
we're prepared with a good presentation too. So,
right, and that will fall out of this 30% BOD report, which is a linchpin in a lot of ways, but
Correct.
that's gonna help us understand better the cost and the type of plant and the timeline and some of the other ancillary issues we have with regard to, you know, a septic or a sewer system line up to the resort.
Yep.
Great. And just a general note, I think as we know on the board, it's not proper for us to engage in a substantive discussion separately. That these things need to be discussed at board level, well, three of us.
Mhm.
Whatever the issue is, although I do appreciate Stan having, I think all three of us are on
Yes.
the email that he sent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would prefer that any requests of staff come through the manager, the town manager, or for the staff to undertake any activities.
Noted.
All right, does anybody have anything else on correspondence or anything?
No.
Shall we go into non-public then?
Sure.
Think we got a couple
For legal.
for legal matters, yeah, I think. I will make the motion to go into non-public for a legal matter.
I mean, second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tim. You too. Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you.
actually. We did pretty good, I think, in terms of timing.